neurology. As we will start in a second, some settings has to be done. First, allow me a minute. A very good morning to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us today on the last day of IDEA 2021 International Conference organized jointly by COE India and SkillSlate Foundation Pune. I'm really happy to have all the audience today for this wonderful conference as we march towards the ends of this extravagant experience. We have been receiving a wonderful response from all the people from India and abroad. All the speakers, all the audience members, and all the patrons have been so happy that everyone at this particular event and what all learnings they have been going. Introduce myself. My name is Amay Agrawal. I am founder of SkillSlate Foundation, a non-profit organization working to make education accessible. In the past 1 year, we have trained over 25,000 people, and with the help of all these amazing speakers, resource persons, and our patrons and your audience today, we are committed to do more. I would like to welcome Dr. Sir, Abhigyan Nehu Meghalaya Sir, Jayesh man behind this conference and who has taken up this idea and wanted to influence, empower, and encourage all the education and the examination domain with this particular conference. Thank you so much, audience, and I'm really happy that you are going to have a wonderful, wonderful experience today. To navigate further and understand what we have in store for us today, I would like to request Dr. Mahesh Gaikwad, who is the master of conference for today, to please guide us and help us know what we will be learning from the conference. Thank you so much to you all. Thank you so much for joining. Over to you, Dr. Mahesh Gaikwad.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Amay. A very good morning, respected academicians and COEs all over India, and as well as our YouTube audiences. On behalf of COE India, I am Dr. Mahesh Gaikwad, Assistant Controller of Examinations, MIT World Peace University, Pune. Welcome you all for the International Debate on Examinations and Assessments, that is IDEA 2021, organized by COE India and SkillSlate in association with ION IDEA. Today's topic for discussion in this first session of the day, grading system, universal system or diversified system. Now I would like to introduce our first speaker of the day, Dr. Sharmila Chaudhary Madam. Principal, Global Indian International School, Bangalore, Karnataka. Dr. Sharmila Chaudhary, Madam, has 30 years of experience in teaching and managing educational institutes, and she strongly believes that education with administration is the area where she has already explored and excelled. Her vision is to spread awareness amongst the school across the globe to prepare a child to face the challenges. Dr. Sharmila Chaudhary ma'am has won several awards, which includes Innovative Educator Award from NCERT and CED at Delhi in 2018, Best Principal Award by ISRB and Ministry of Higher Education in 2016, and Best Curriculum Design Award by Pearson in 2016. On behalf of COE India and SkillSlate, I welcome you, madam. Thank you, and over to Dr. Sharmila Chaudhary, madam. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Kaikwar. So let me just share my screen.
Yeah.
So can you all see?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yes, yes. So good morning all, and really very proud to be a part of this platform where so many academicians are there. So the today's topic is a very debatable topic where we had been talking of the grading system, which was in our country, which was existing in the world for a long time. But yes, we strongly feel that whether it should be uniform, whether it should be uniform across the globe, across the country, or whether it should be a diversified system. So I will share my thoughts on the same. So the first, I will talk of the need for the grading system. Why do we need a grading system? See, while the grading systems are fairly standardized, but there are a lot of debates and a lot of questions about this grading system that continues till date. There is similar questions about their variability, because this grading, it can be a subjective process, but how is it related to learning? That is what is the basic question. The grade scale itself is not exactly the same at all schools, at all regions, at all zones. And of course, there is a variation across the different countries. So one of the largest concerns about the variability in this grading system is the grade inflation. The phenomenon in which the average grades at the private schools, which is believed a little higher than the public schools, that is one of the belief. People also claim that there is a discrepancy that is caused by the private schools where there is a selectivity in the admission procedures. So there are a lot of concerns regarding this grading system. But yes, the grading system was arrived initially before the 19th century by the Yale University, where it was felt that we need to assess, we need to quantitatively measure the learning outcome of a child. And hence Yale University came out with a grading system. Then came across the need for its uniformity. Why do we need it to be uniform? See, the grading system, since it is a debatable topic, its uniformity could not be arrived at, because some said the letter, some said put it on a scale, some had put it on a CGPA, GPA, some measures on a 4-point scale, some measures on a 9-point scale, some on a 10-point scale. It is very difficult, especially in pandemic, where you can now take admissions anywhere across the globe. The admission desks, they have a difficult time when there is an application from India or from Australia. What is the level of the uniformity? What is the level of the academics taught at that country? How concentrated it is or how dilute it is? So there is a requirement of uniformity. And of course, there are requirements in its diversification also, because in India, we have grading system in the scholastic areas as well as in the co-scholastic areas. Today, we have outgrown the word extracurricular activities. It has been now termed as co-scholastic. So we say ECA, CCA. So the word co-scholastic is more predominant now. The reason is because now physical education, visual arts, which includes the music and all, everything, performing arts. So everything is also graded. If you talk of our CBSE curriculum, they have come out with grading system in scholastic. Scholastic means the main core subjects, and grading system in the core scholastic. But this system in India is limited to our country, because when you go abroad, let's take a country like USA, where maths and physical education is given equal importance. But for the Indian system, maths, English, science is different. Physical education is totally different. Maths and physical education is not given equal priority, which is in the other states. So there is a wide variation of our grading system. The different types of the grading system that are available globally, I should say. Its history started off with the Latin terms. We used to say optimi, the second optimi, that's how the Latin speaks, inferiores and the pejores, which means the relative quality, the best, the worst, and the worst. Of course, we say a child cannot be identified, recognized as worse. There's nobody worse. Every child has some talent, some skills, and every child is unique their way. What we expect, our examination system, our examiners, parents, I think the entire process, there are lapses. We expect that in one single tree, banana should grow, guava should grow, jackfruit should grow, everything should grow in one tree. But that is not right. If a tree is a jackfruit tree, only jackfruit grows, banana cannot grow. We fail to understand that. There are grading systems on a 4-point scale, on a 20-point scale, 9-point scale, 10-point scales. What is mostly now predominant in our country and abroad is the grading system of A, B, C, D, where D is termed as the lowest, and anything below E, which generally indicates a failing grade. But of course, that F again should not be used. If you speak to any child psychologists, if you speak to any child counselors, they always prefer not to use the word F, not to use the red mark in the report cards. Everything should be green, because that acts negative for a child psychology. But this system has become the relatively standard grades that we see today. Here also there is a variation. Some says 90 to 100 is A. Some says 90 to 95 is A, and 95 to 100 is A plus. It is a very difficult system. And of course, there are GPAs and CGPAs, and there is a variation in the GPA calculation methods also. So parents are also not sure of. Children are confused. And what happens ultimately, the prospects, the career prospects of a child sometimes gets hampered because of this differentiation in the grading systems. The major concerns I will talk of today, which is really a matter of concern. The system itself is not same in all schools, in all the regions, in all the zones itself. If I talk of India in the South zone, there are different types of grading systems. Some schools follow outstanding as the best. Some schools follow excellent as the best. When a parent takes a transfer and a child has to move from one zone, South zone to North zone, or East to West, the schools are confused. Where does the child stand? Which is the highest grades? I've come across, since I've worked as a head across various schools in the country, I've come across various report cards where, just the child's name with the grades are present. The backside of the report card has the details of the grading. That when they do a photocopy, sometimes they miss out. The backside is missing. The child may be brilliant, but the child doesn't get admission. So these are the various problems. So if there was an uniformity, which means 90 to 100 is outstanding, which is across the globe, wherever the child moves from, whichever part of the world the child is, everybody knows the richness of that grade. So we also should be very careful when we design such grading systems, because this leads to the future career prospects of a child. Especially for the doctoral or the research degrees, what happens is most of the colleges, they give more importance to the final thesis of the student than, of course, to the grades or the GPA, which does not definitely mean that with this lower grades, it cannot qualify for the doctoral degree solely just based on the final dissertation. Similarly, good narratives take time for a teacher. Since throughout my life, I was with schools, very small part of life with an university. So I've always seen when the teachers prepare a report card, when we tell them to prepare a lot of narratives, the narratives also become standardized. It is not specific to one particular child, which should be. Every child is unique. So what happens, a report card reflects the measurement of the child. It's a quantitative measurement of the value of knowledge and the learning that the child has learned when he's passing out from a school or from a college. These standardized based reports are often too complicated for the parents to understand. They don't know my child is good in which subject, because there are a lot of standards. Even if you Google, there is a lot of standards, comments present, remarks present. The teachers are not so careful, just putting a standard comment, which does not talk of the child. We fail to realize that how much the child has learned. We always, when we are evaluating and assessing in the examination system, we try to identify what the child does not know, which is not right. The child may know a lot. When we say 70%, we look down to a child. We look up to a child who has received 90%. But we do not appreciate the child who has received 70% also, because the child has received the knowledge of that subject. The child is rich in the content, 70%, there is no appreciation for the child. And we seldom communicate the appropriateness of a student progress. We say a progress report card, but we do not reflect that progress in the report card. We never do an analysis. We just give the system, because it has to be given in a report card. It has to be measured at the end of an academic year. A printed paper, now it is in the form of an e-paper, has to go to a parent. But the appropriateness of the progress is never reflected. I've done analysis where I wanted to check that when a child had joined with me in grade 1 and when the child is passing out of school in grade 10, what has the school done? Have we done anything? Has there been any improvement of the child? A child has joined with 70%, but the child is leaving the school after 10 years. Has there been an improvement of 80 to 85%? This analysis, if we take up, if we do, and if this goes down to the teacher level, I'm sure that reflection will be there on the report cards. Yes, when we talk of the grading system, grades comes from the marks. So there is a quantitative measurement, definitely. But this measurement is not always reached in its right way. See, what happens is there are many ways of diagnosing whether the students are learning and whether gradings are always the best method or not. But yes, what happens is these are all debatable topics, and whether the practice of grading on a curve is useful in fostering or assessing the students' learning, that itself needs to be considered. And there should be a standardized grading scale which is necessary across the world, where students may move from one school to another across the globe, and the grading will be standardized. So any part of the world, if you're in grade B, it means you have achieved 80 to 90, and not that A plus is 90 to 100 and 80 to 90 is A and B is 70 to 80. This variation of grading system is extremely misleading. I would also like to share another thought with me, that why I think it should be standardized. See, there are grading inflations. Of course, the benefit of doubts to be given to the students, but the meaning, what it means, has to remain the same. It might be, receiving the different grades in different institutes, and the schools also vary with their plus and minus systems. But at the end of the day, when a child is coming out with, like we say, the class 10 exams, NEP is saying the class 12 exams. So wherever the child is, whatever is the curriculum, whether it's a CBSE, whether it's an IB, whether it is an ICSE, whether it is state board, every curriculum has its own content. Some goes for activity-based learning, some goes for descriptive method of learning, some goes for objective model of learning. That's okay, that is fine. Everything is a learning. But the uniformity in the system has to be there, which is not present now. So everything is confusing for the child, for the admission desk, to get an admission into an university, get an admission into at the master's level, and even for doctoral and postdoctoral degrees. Especially in outside India, this becomes very confusing, though India is a state, is a country which is considered to be academically very rich. We are very good in science. We are very good in maths. There are a lot of, I have seen my students who are working great in maths and science in USA. But there are a lot of other students who did not get chance there. Maybe they were more brilliant than these students because of these grading systems, So the representation of the system is very important. So I strongly feel there should be some uniformity across the globe, especially in this pandemic time, where anybody can take admission anywhere. Admission process becomes easier. Future prospect, the future career of every child will definitely be more brighter. When we say we are assessing, we are evaluating, we are examining a child, so there is a lot of debate, a lot of research work going on. I'm sure here also a lot of eminent members are here. Do we actually identify the learning outcome? Because there are certain predefined criteria based on which we judge a child, but sometimes we miss out on certain criteria which is unique to a child. So every child is unique. So the certain criteria might have been missed out. So the grading, the system has to be altered. There has been a lot of changes. We were only with marks, we were only with percentage. We have come into letters for the grading system, but I think it needs to be more uniform, more modified, and it should be globally uniform, not just uniform across a country. Within our country itself, there is so much of diversification of the grading system. I also suggest that the progress criteria to demarcate the process of how that grade is achieved is very, very important. Many times we see, parents coming back to us saying, for math, science, English, there is a mark register, which, every school has a huge, big register that they maintain and how that grade was achieved. But when I talk of music, when I talk of performing arts, when I talk of physical education, the teacher, there is no quantitative measurement as such. The teacher, there are hardly some 10 to 12 criteria based on which some grades are given. It is not what we are doing justice to the children. Why not we treat the similar subject, maths, equivalent to a subject like physical education, which is there abroad? A child may be a sportsman, very, very good, in terms of physical education, but it is not equivalent to the core subject like math, because that subject itself is not treated as a core subject. So here also grading system varies. In the main scholastic subjects, we have A+, but here the highest grade is A in the same report card. There is a clear demarcation. So this is very, very confusing. So I always felt that the grading system, which is from the defined criteria, the criteria should also be widely available so that any child that you talk of matches at least some of the criteria. Another thing that I wanted to mention here always, this is always my thoughts too, because I've always dealt with schools and I've always seen, some children getting stuck in university admissions, some children getting stuck when they come out of the school, not only in engineering and medical. There are so many available options nowadays, multiple options nowadays. But, the child can speak a lot. The child is a good narrator, is a good orator. The child can present himself. The child cannot describe while the child is writing. So, this writings, but our assessment system is what you write, what you produce on pen and paper, and you are graded on that. Though there are, the system itself has its own lapses. It's not just a pen and paper test. How you present, how you speak is also very important. There are so many children now who are, tech savvy. If you tell them to write something, they cannot in the examination time. You tell them to present in PPT, they do a fabulous job. When I tell a child to draw, the child is not able to draw, prepare a collage. But when I tell the child to prepare a collage in this, an e-collage, it's a brilliant job is done by the child. So, since we are moving ahead, we cannot fix ourselves to one particular system. We also have to change. The whole world is changing. So we cannot stick to our old grading system. We also need to move on and be flexible and always give the benefit to the child. To develop the grading and the reporting practices which provide quality information about the student learning, this is what I've always felt. It requires clear thinking, which hardly we all are doing, a very careful planning of the system, excellent communication skills, And this is, one of the drawback where most of the children, they're very brilliant. The subject knowledge, they're expert in that. But when they need to communicate, when there is an oral interview, many people fail. So we need to develop on that. And there should be, these also are the criteria where they need to be graded. And overriding concern for the well-being of the students. This I've always felt that there is so much of diversified systems. This is very confusing for the students. We do not think of the well-being of the child. So combining these skills with their current knowledge on the effective practice will definitely give them a better outcome, a better learning outcome for the child. And of course, the teachers will be able to evaluate well. It will give if not an accurate grade, it will be a more effective grade. And of course, the practices that we are following, where you submit a worksheet, submit an assignment, where there are internal marks, which we call as the reporting practices, that becomes more defined. So when I say more defined, everything is scalable. So when they are scalable, they are quantified, they are measured, and hence we have a clear, everything is very crystal clear from this defined criteria to which grade it is leading to. So I conclude always by saying that this grading system, which is varying from different boards, from different curriculums, because we have different curriculum within our country. Every state has their own state board. There is abroad, which is by the CBSE curriculum, which is a very scientific curriculum that is designed by CBSE. But again, I feel that there is a big gap between the grading system of scholastic and post-scholastic. That's the first thing. With IT being progressing in our whole world, there are a lot of parents who gets transferred across the globe. So here, that time, there are many report cards that comes from abroad. When I see, very simple, very easy to understand, and the grading systems are very clearly demarcated. But when you see, and when you give an Indian report card to any outside, whether you talk of Finland, which is, people say that it's one of the best in the education system as far as schooling is concerned, because they have shifted from project-based learning to phenomena-based learning, etc., etc. If you see their report card, if you see a report card that is in Singapore, if you see a report card in US, any US schools, if you take, whether it's a private school or a public school, it's very easy. It's very easy to understand. But when this Indian report card goes to them, now they're a little confused as to their various grading systems. So what happens is, when they apply in most of the colleges, there has to be an additional letter which the professors has to recommend that this is relevant to this CGPA of your grading system. Okay, so those letters are important. That is an important document to allow the child. So more than the report card, the letter talks to allow the child to get an admission. So why not what is written on that paper by that particular professor? Why not that cannot be put as in the report card, which itself gives a clear picture of the grading system, which is equivalent to that country, so that there is no confusion as to where the child stands. Because we Indians, we are rich in academics. There are so many brilliant students who want to apply, who want to study abroad, come back to the country. But when they are rejected, not just because of they are rejected solely because the grading systems are not clear to the admission desk. So if it is uniform, if it is standardized, if it is global, I think these confusions will not be there. And I'm sure the career prospects of our future citizens will be better. So I conclude by saying that, of course, the grading system, I feel, should be uniform with a clear demarcation, at least within our country. And since we are all in pandemic and there are a lot of virtual schools that has come up across the globe, we need to have a standardized system so that education reaches to everybody. It's not limited to some of the citizens who are benefited by its richness. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am, for such a thoughtful address. Moving ahead, our next speaker of the session is Dr. Subhashish Datta, COE Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad University, West Bengal. Dr. Subhashish Datta is presently Controller of Examinations of Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad University of Technology, West Bengal, formerly West Bengal University of Technology. He has turned around the examination system of the university from conventional practices to digital platform within less than 1 year of the time, introducing various new strategies. He also looks after academics matters of the university as coordinator of all board of studies, UG and PG of the university. Dr. Datta has had his PhD degree from Jadavpur University. His basic area of interest are implementation of information technology in academic activities and academic administration, digitization of education, information and knowledge framework, reformation of assessment system through scientific methods, participative, inclusive, transparent, sustainable education system, implementation of outcome-based education through examination reforms. He is also inclined to different aspects of student and faculty induction, value education, emotional quotient, leadership management. On behalf of COE India and SkillSlate, I would like to welcome Dr. Subhashis Datta, sir. Thank you. Over to Subhashis Datta, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mahesh, and thank you the platform to give me chance to speak on this occasion. Let me share my screen to.
Amaya, please will you?
Yeah, is it visible now? Is it visible? Kindly confirm.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
It is visible, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, just before me, the madam has told regarding the different grading systems and the diversity of grading systems in the country and around the world. My talk at this point of time is the assessment system from where the grades are generated. Although this particular session is earmarked for grading system, a discussion on grading systems, I am thankful to the organizers that they have accommodated me towards in the midway of the conference and allow me to showcase our strategies which we are doing at our university in the pandemic situation and pre-pandemic as well. I'll briefly describe those practices. And my target is if some people finds out some clue to take some practices in their place so that students at the end get the benefit of the newly introduced system. So myself, Dr. Subhashis Datta, Controller of Examination, Maulana Abul Kalam University of Technology, West Bengal. So the background, the university was formerly known as West Bengal University of Technology. This is a state university and the affiliating university for all the professional and engineering colleges of the state. So we have around 200 plus affiliated colleges with student strength of 150,000. And the university was established just before 20 years back. At this point in our assessment and examination department, our focus is on replacing paper and manual process by a digital workflow and adopt digital innovations in academics, student services, assessments, and learning. So I'll quickly tell that how the entire semester process continues in our university system. At the beginning of the semester, students at the beginning of admission, in fact, they got registered with the university. That is an online process. All degree certificates are uploaded by the colleges online, and we have our verification mechanism. For the state students, the 10+2 marks are verified as because the database of the state board of 10+2 are shared with us. Therefore, those results can be directly verified, and we are also tied up with some other boards so that we can get the data directly. So there is no very quick way of verifying documents in terms of registration. Then the students enrolled in the semester, and therefore the papers, subjects offered to them are included during the enrollment. Once the students is enrolled, against each of the paper, the faculties are tagged or they are allotted, so they can see which teacher is going to teach which subject. This process is in fact taken for all the 200 affiliated colleges through a centralized system. Then during the entire semester, in fact, in end of every month, we take the marks for some continuous assessments. Normally, we take 4 continuous assessments for theory subjects and 2 continuous assessment marks for the practical subjects. So normally a semester continues, the teaching learning process for a semester continues for 4 months. So end of each month, we take 1 continuous assessment for the theory subjects. Apart from there, we have a process of collection of MOOCs, MAR and mentoring data. I'll come later regarding this. Then at the end of the semester, we have automated eligibility choosing process for the students for application of end semester examinations. Then the entire process of application for examination, which is also called kind of form fill up, is done online mode. Then evaluation of end semester examinations is previously it was done on pen and paper, but last semester we did it totally online. I'll describe that as well. Then I'll also tell you regarding some process of publication of results. And the important thing in the entire flow I have told is all stakeholders have the access of the data as applicable. The students can see their marks, their internal assessment marks, end semester marks, see their whether how they are becoming eligible for the examination. All those are very transparent. The faculties who are teaching, they can also see that what are the marks being uploaded. The college principals can see the performance, not only performance of the students, but also whether all teachers have timely submitted all marks or assessment taken or not. All those data are accessible from our database. And finally, once a student pass out, they need transcript, sometimes verification, sometimes duplicate card. All those things are also issued online. Regarding few continuous assessment, we have, as already I have told you, that this is 4 continuous assessments are taken, and these continuous assessments are very much important as because we understand Bloom's taxonomy. There are different levels of understanding could be judged. So we know that in the end semester examinations, only the remembering and understanding portion, the lower levels of Bloom's taxonomy could be taken care. So the higher level of taxonomy are taken care through these continuous assessments. And we have given liberty to the faculties, that could be a class test or viva voce or quiz or assignments or any other method, so that the higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy are taken care. Then we have one unique feature in our system, mandatory additional requirement. We call this as MAR. These are basically a list of co-curricular activities which are offered to the students, and students need to take up different activities and they earn points from those activities. And in order to get their degree, the 25 points they need to achieve in every academic year. If that is a 3rd year UG course, they need to achieve 75 points at the end of 3 years, and for the BTech courses, the 100 points each year. So this is a kind of list of activities which are available in our list. Like if somebody takes some MOOCs courses, based on the duration of the courses, there are some points are allocated. Once they submit the certificate, they get that marks. Then participation in Tech Fest, Freshers Welcome, for that also they have some marks, some points are defined. Then rural reporting, say tree plantation. If a one student plants 1 tree, then they get 1 point. But in every activity, there is some capping of getting maximum points from that activity. What I mean, a student cannot plant 25 trees in an academic year and ask for 25 points. Yes, his 25 points would be noted in his report card, but they can get maximum 5 points for the eligibility of getting 25 points out of the tree plantation. Similarly, in all other things, right from blood donation camp to participation of sports and games, then photography, then adventure sports, then taking some training. And finally, if you look at item 24, the special activities during lockdown period, we have introduced that even during staying at home, we introduced around 10 activities like mobile photography. We conducted competition for that and students earned points for that. Then videography, then cooking, then then some kind of housekeeping, supporting elderly people, reorientation of rooms, furniture. Those are small activities for which we gave probably 1 to 2 points. But keeping students alive during the pandemic situation. So this MAR activity is one of the unique feature in our system through which students earn points. Then we have provision of taking courses through MOOCs, massive open online courses from different platforms. We have our Indian platforms like NPTEL, SIOM, or international platform Coursera, edX, and Udemy. Those are there. So normally our degrees are given BTech, but if somebody wants to convert it to BTech honors, they need to earn 20 credit points from these online courses. And we give primarily it was there is a basket of courses through which the credits could be earned. But very recently we have changed it. The student can choose their own course apart from the basket. And once they get the approval before taking the course, we align with some credit point and we award credit points so that they can learn of their own way. These 20 credit points are required for getting honors for the 4-year degrees, and 16 credit points are required to get honors in 3-year undergraduate courses. And finally, other continuous process is mentoring. All students are, this is otherwise common among various institutes, that all faculties are tagged with the students for the purpose of mentoring. We have defined list of parameters related to academic, health, hobbies, their interests, their achievements, and the mentors need to submit the reports periodically. We take reports quarterly. So 4 times we take the report. Even we take the report of the, say, blood pressure, then height, weight, so that from that pattern we can judge whether a student is doing well even physically or not. So this is another screen. I would like to show that against each of the students, once you put his roll number, his eligible MOOCs courses comes, and once the certificates are uploaded, they are recorded in our system. Then very specifically, what we did previously and what we are doing during this pandemic situation. Previously, our examination system was in pen and paper method. But during the pandemic, in fact, pandemic declared in March 2020 in our country, immediately we responded to that fate, and we have conducted meeting with each of the colleges. In fact, we took around 8 to 10 colleges in a session, and me with our Honorable Vice Chancellor, he's so dynamic that the colleges were guided how to take classes during the, because pre-pandemic there was no concept of taking classes online. So for the month of, in March we declared that for the month of, from the month of April, we started monitoring that. We have developed a system where after taking the class, whether they need to upload the record of the class, not the recording, but the record of the class, that is which class is taken, which topic is covered, how many students, and the class belongs to which institute. And within 1.5 months, we found that more than 2 lakhs of classes were recorded in our portal. So our challenge was to channelize all the institutions with this new method, and also we requested students after taking the class give feedback against each of the class, and there we got records around more than 50 lakhs from the students. So in that way, we make this online education system popular in a very quick fashion manner. Then this is already described that after the class, the students, the eligible students, get the form for application for examination, and the colleges need to endorse their form. Once they approve, their concerned college approves the form, the examination is submitted online by the students, or if the students do not have access to online payment system at this point, the colleges can also pay on their behalf, and admit card is generated for the successful candidates. Now, mode of assessment during pre-pandemic time, university has the option to deliver question paper either online. Many of these technical universities like us, they are delivering questions online. So we also have that process. Also, depending upon different examinations, we also have process of delivering physical questions. We had this. And after the examination, the scripts were collected from the colleges. Then the scripts were scanned. And after the scanning, those were uploaded to our cloud. And the examiners are given login access to those clouds in order to evaluate the scripts. Those were our process. But during pandemic, taking examination in pen and paper method had become very difficult. We had adopted for few courses for which the examinations were pending till the pandemic. So we allowed students to write the examination in pen and paper at their home, keeping their webcam on their mobile phone or laptop by monitoring the students and uploading their scan scripts on our portal so that those can be later on evaluated by our examiner. But we found that becomes difficult because the quality of scanning, then the number of pages uploaded, there could be some disparities, and also the sanctity of the examination, whether that could be maintained or not, that was a challenge. So therefore we decided to conduct the last odd semester end semester examination online in MCQ mode. Students appeared either from their home, or if they do not have sufficient connectivity and devices, they can go to their nearby college and appear in the proctored environment done through human resource and digital method of invigilation. But to conduct such examination, the preparation of question paper was a big challenge. We deal around 250 number of different courses for which we need to prepare 1,800 number of question papers. So for that purpose, the questions were also collected online, giving access to the paper setters. And the paper setter need to submit, suppose we are going to give 50 questions for one examination, so they need to submit at least 200 to 300 number of question papers. The question papers, we advise to give 30 questions of 1 mark and 20 questions of 2 marks. That becomes a 70 marks question paper. Now these not only 1 and 2 marks, but each of the questions were also marked with the difficulty level of the question, whether it is easy, moderate, hard, and whether tagged with some Bloom's taxonomy level. So in that way, the question papers were collected. I can show you a screenshot. Although this is a big space is taken, so therefore the font size becomes very small. See, the first 2 lines are number of questions they need to submit question for 1 mark and 2 mark question. Then the next 3 rows are for defining difficulty level. And not only that, in order to spread the question paper throughout the different chapters, units, or modules of the syllabus, from which chapter how many questions will finally come, that is primarily defined by the paper setter. Then they need to submit multiple times of this question in the question bank. Then we engage moderator who checks the correctness of the question, the grammar of the questions, and whether this logic is sufficient or not. Once we find these things are fine, the question bank is locked, and the computer system automatically takes question based on the logic. How many questions will come from chapter 1, how many questions from chapter 2, and how many questions from easy, moderate, and hard level, and how many questions of 1 mark and 2 marks will come from the question bank. And it's an auto-generated question paper generates during the examination. Students, the question comes to different students in a jumbled manner. The jumbledness was there in serial number of questions as well as the option of the questions. There are normally 4 options against each of the questions. So in online exam, students appeared from their desktop, laptops, or mobile phone with webcam on. Students log in from their account and get access of the examinations as per schedule and timing of the examinations. The examination was for 1.5 hours. They need to keep webcam on during the examinations. There are standard AI proctored monitoring with log browser, an additional object or person identification, etc. Apart from that, we have trained a big group of invigilators for online invigilation, depending upon different examination at an approximate ratio of 1:50. Apart from there, we have our general university team, which is second level of digital monitoring system we deployed during the examinations. Even during although the entire process was centrally done, but the colleges were given dashboard for the information that whether the students are attending the examinations or not. And sometime for some examinations, this proctoring on invigilation, digital invigilation facility were also given to the colleges. So these are few features we kept in our online examination process: the webcam snapshot, face recognition, block other apps, block screen share, AI-based proctoring, live monitoring, block other system keys like copy paste, etc., and block browser tabs. So this is one of the screenshots that how the colleges can get access, that based on the time and date of the examination, how many papers from their institutes the students are appearing, total number of students, then how many students are present, how many are absent. If they go to the details, they can go see the details of the students who are absent. They can get the contact number directly from this dashboard, and they can directly call to the students if there is any issue. We had our a big help desk as well, in order to support students if they are finding any difficulty to appear in the examination.
Last 3 minutes, sir.
Yeah, and we have conducted examination for more than 6 lakhs of students during March 2026, and there were sessions where we conducted examination for in a session more than 40,000 students. And the amazing fact is the attendance for this overall 6 lakhs examinations was 99.8%, which what we feel that this is not the question of digital device, but it is the orientation. If we orient in the new normal, the students are ready to take up these things. The examination results were published for 1.4 lakhs of students in only 10 days. The pattern of success is evenly distributed, and success is little better than the earlier examinations. When I say it is evenly distributed, that means there is no reason that only the city colleges perform better and the village colleges didn't perform better, but the success was evenly distributed. And assessment was also uniform. When manually human beings checks the answer scripts, say 50 different examiner can evaluate in 50 different ways. But once this is MCQ kind of question paper, the assessment would be very uniform. So planning ahead, we are in the process of developing some app for this online examination. So the examination process becomes more easier, and students can appear from their mobile, and the other things could be taken care of, and their data consumptions also become less. We are also trying to develop some app for this examination portal for all these features, even for the offline examinations. And development of another mobile app for transferring answer scripts from the examination hall to university portal for offline examination. This is one of the very important things we are thinking. Even in the future, if we go for any physical examinations, we are trying to develop something, say right from the examination hall after the examination, if those scripts can be scanned through the app and transferred to the university portal. So there will be no threat of loss of the answer script in between or any kind of manipulation after the examination process. Then another important development of scanning application for, okay, this is done. And the last one is our dream project, the development of NLP, Natural Language Processing Software for assessment of answer scripts. In this part, we'll try to primarily, scan the script, then convert them to the text, and to the keywords and key phrases. We'll develop some software. We are planning for piloting with 1 or 2 courses. Then we'll go for the entire thing in future. So where the human intervention in assessment would not be there. So these are some practices we are doing at our university. Probably people will find few things interesting. And if they have some comment, they can either write to me or write in the WhatsApp to improve our systems, or if the ideas they found good, they can discuss with us. Finally, I thank you the organizers to accommodate me and allow me to showcase our practices at this session. Although this is not exactly the grading system, or grading system would be told by the others. How the grades are generated from this examinations, we have our grading system as well. So I'm not taking any more time to explain those things. So I thank you all the visitors, all participants in the YouTube and these other links, and the organizers again. And I wish this conference to be very successful. Thank you very much. I'm done.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Now, moving forward, our next speaker of the day is A. Cynthia, Madam, Professor, St. Joseph College, Trichy, Tamil Nadu. Dr. A. Cynthia has completed MSc, MPhil, PhD, TN Set, and working at Department of Physics, St. Joseph's College, Trichy, Tamil Nadu, India. Her accomplishments includes one UGC-sponsored minor project. She has conducted TN, SC, ST, and TN CHE sponsored 2 days national seminars. Dr. Cynthia was 4th rank in the university in MSc degree. She has guided 6 PhD students and 11 MPhil students. Out of 41 publications, her 16 publications are Scopus indexed. She has presented 22 papers in various national and international conferences. On behalf of COE India and SkillSlate, I welcome you, madam. Thank you, and over to Dr. Cynthia.
Yes, thank you, sir. Nice introduction. And now, shall I present, sir?
You may share your
Okay,
screen, ma'am.
you can share, ma'am.
So you're not disabled, the host is disabled. Kindly allow me to share, sir.
May I please make madam as a host?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, you are the host. Please, can you try again?
Sorry, Ame, it's looking host is me. Just a minute.
Ma'am, please try now.
Okay, sir. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you. And very good morning to you all. I'm Dr. Cynthia, working as an assistant professor of physics, St. Joseph's College, Trichy. I'm happy to be a part of this conference, and I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. And the topic given to me is understanding that there's a grading system, and this grading system is an universal system or diversified system. So first of all, we should know. Let us imagine in a sports. In a sports, if 9 athletes or 10 athletes are participating in an event, and how the awards are given. Is it through any grading or is it through the scores? That is, scoring means the speeds. So only the speed is decided here for awarding the first prize and second prize and third prize. Why? Because the number of participants, that is athletes, are less. Now imagine, now we are in the academic situation, number of participants are running. So in order to award them, we need a grading system. So keeping in this mind, we would like to see this, kindly see this slides. So keeping in this mind, I was searching this internet. So what are the controversy or what are the concepts that are idea that are in between the people? So I could get some of these points. One is the grading scale is disappropriate. Second thing is scales are not tested equally. Third thing is items are weighted differently on single test. And the fourth one is using a single grade to demonstrate performance is problematic. The last thing is teachers consider non-academic factors when computing academic grades.
I'm the founder of SkillSlate Foundation, a non-profit organization working to make
These
education
are
skills
the
and
points I could get it from the web
I
pages.
would like to thank all
I
our
request
friends and
Amay to
supporters,
hold on mute.
associating organizations.
Yes, speaker, you could carry on. Thank you. Thanks for. Sorry for the disturbance.
Okay. So let us imagine. So we have, let us imagine, 4 institutions are here. So in this, all the institution will have the grading system. Imagine. So if the grading system for a W institution is 92 to 100, that will be treated as a grade A. And for the next institution X, 96 to 100 is the grade A. And for the Y institute, grade A will be 95 to 100. For Z institute, 90 to 100. Let this is to be the grading for an A. So here, the total students who have secured this grade is 5 for W, and 6 for X, and 4 for Y, and 7 for Z. And the highest score that is obtained by the person in the institute W is 93. And for X, 96. And for Y, 95. And for Z, let it be 98. This is an imagination. Right. An employer is coming and expecting the best candidate to attend the interview so that they can get a very good candidate for their job. And the students are selected. That is, selection is going to be based on the score that is above 96. Right here, we are dealing with the scores that is above the 96 percentage. So imagine, so how many institutes are going to participate in this? So the Z Institute can, the students from the Z Institute can participate, and students from the X Institute can participate. And what happened to the Institute Y? And what happened to the Institute is W? So what is the final inference here? Only less students can attend the interview and others are rejected. Now, our aim of a government or all other higher authorities to get the education to all, and they should come up with very good jobs, and so that they could help their family, and this will help the society, and etc. Now, let us come for the grading system. That is expecting employers, they are expecting the best candidate to attend the interview through the grading system. So the grade system obtained by all the institutes will get an opportunity to attend the interview. The person who have gained grade A from all the institutions, they have an opportunity to attend the interview. So from among them, a best candidate can be selected for the job. Okay, so now this will give, that is, what is the inference here? All the students can get the chance to get an interview and they'll get the job. So the purpose of grading is to communicate to all the stakeholders student achievement toward specific standard at a standard point in time to inspire future achievement and impact change. In a score system, putting 0 as a score means in a particular subject means what happened to the attendance and what happened to the hours spent by the student inside the classroom. So this is the drawback in the scoring system. But in the grading system, a student cannot earn 0 grading. So this itself gives mental strength among the students while learning. And now this is the time. That is, the time has come to include the structure of grading system more systematically. Why we have to see this point means, so a lot of ideas are behind the students as well as the parents regarding this grading system. Okay, so we must ensure that the students and the family members, that is families, understand that the grading is nothing but it can reflect the students' learning system, which is always temporary. That means it will come under modification. So grading can make the students to understand their position in the learning in order to improve themselves. The grading along with the feedback. Here is a very good information we should have. The grading system should include the feedback system. So the grading along with the feedback from the teachers about the quality of the students will make the students to judge of their own in learning process. So now a lot of gains will be there that will be within the individual states vary through grading and education. So data on learning outcome is essential for tracking progress in achievements and understanding what education policy work. And comparing to other countries, in India, the status of education is positively associated with the learning variation with respect to different factors across the states. So these are the points I could get from the review from a standard art journals that was published in 2021 and 2017. And there is also another report that is in India. There is a sharp drop out of both boys and girls. So in early 20th centuries, so indicating that grading system was unreliable. So these are the information that I could got from the literature review. So the more recent studies focus on the relationship of the grades tested to achievement and survey studies of teachers' grading practices. So the results suggest that based on the grading practices, one thing is multi-dimensional construct containing both cognitive and non-cognitive factors needed for reflecting the teacher's value in student work. Second thing is grading systems are among the most influential factors. And third thing is grades help to enhance achievements of the students and foster learning. And they were paired with individual comments. And the fourth thing is the information routinely given in schools through grading may encourage them and emphasize on the quantitative aspects of learning. This is also a review. This is also an information got from the standard journal. That means, so in the previous years, there was a debate on whether the grading system is good or not. Now it's time to discuss, is this grading system is an universal or diversified? Right. In India, grading motivates achieving students to continue getting high grade regardless of whether that goal has happened to overlap with learning. Next thing is the grading strategy changes and have lack of balancing accuracy-based grading with effort-based grading. So this is also a report taken from the journal. What they're saying is there is a lack of balancing. And next point is the students with the good grades are likely to be influenced by their grades rather than by their self-assessment in the transition. Transition here comes here. That is students from primary to the secondary education and secondary education to the tertiary education as a higher education. Okay, so at that time, whole transition to tertiary education is ambiguous because of low grades. If there is, this is the report taken from the article. So the author is saying that whole transition to tertiary education is ambiguous because of low grades. So at this time, self-assessment does play a role. This is according to that author. So these are the controversies available regarding this universal grading system. So we have to think, we have to keep these on our mind. Now my concept is this grading system should be an universal grading system. So in recent times, the percentage of the students achieving first class honors has increased from 26% to the 28% according to the Higher Education Statistics Agency. So the global policy changes in the education are needed, and these policies do not operate in the same way in all nation states. And also in some countries, these have restrictions. So new forms of governance should balance between the public and the private funding of education access and equity. In India, compared to United States of America, the number of public education institutes are less. So making grading system as an universal has restriction to some extent. And grading system in higher education differs between the United States and New Zealand also. In Netherlands, there is also another grading system. So grading is higher education. Grading in higher education varies within countries. So grading system should be subjected to certain modification. So we know that ABCD is the common letters for providing the gradings. Now, for improving the grading system, researchers identify certain factors. The first thing is objective assessment as measured through the standardized assessments. The second thing is early classroom citizenship. And the third thing is high school achievement as measured through grades demonstrating that behavior. So these are the factors that is put forth by the researchers. So grading and the student course evaluation and their historical changes in the expected grade distribution are the two unique issues in implementing universal grading system. So now we are accepting the grading system and we are expecting that grading system, it should be a universal. So certain factors are there. So if we accept the universal system, grading system, so we should think about certain factors. The first thing is, in India, students prefer science education rather than the arts compared to European countries. So deviation comes in the subject selection itself. So our government is framing the policies focusing that all should get education. But today education is highly expensive. So we have to think about economically poor students' education and their success using the grade system. Also, change in the policy will affect the education system and then affect the students' parents in the society. Economically poor students have to go for the part-time job in order to meet the expenses for getting higher education, especially in India. Then there will be a need for formal education and informal education with universal grading system. So the exam system and the evaluation process plays a vital role here. So the measure of grading should be subject to research. In India, centralized, non-centralized, funded and no-funded education institutions are there. Among all, centralized education institutes come under world ranking rather than the educational institution in India, other institutions. So Indian Institutes of Technology, National Institute of Technology, and a lot of centralized funded institutes of India, they are following the 10-point GPA grade point average system. In Tamil Nadu, arts and science universities are forced to migrate to the CCPA system for the evaluation. So now in India, the NAC, that is an accreditation committee, it gives the grade to the colleges. So this will help the students to choose the best institute based on the NAC's grade. So today we are in the position to implement the outcome-based education in order to come, that is a world ranking domain. That is, our institute should come under the world ranking domain. So we need a universal grading system. So as well as researchers are saying that project-based learning is also important. That is how it is important. Project-based learning is understood to be a promising approach that improves the students' learning in higher education. The policies of teaching, learning assessment, and lack of basic infrastructure, lack of facilities, and the teachers' workload are the key challenges in implementing the universal grading system in India. So these are the points we have to keep in mind if we are implementing the universal grading system. According to me, as a layperson, I'm not against and I'm not for any policies. But from the literature review and from my experience, I could see these points. So in our government, education to all is the major aim of the government. So in case of if our institute or in India is going to implement the universal grading system, then the standard-based grading can be introduced. So this standard-based grading system is the real solution for the grading system, and this point is put forth by the researchers. So I could get these information only from the literature reviews. Right. So if we are using the grading system as a universal grading system, and we have to introduce, we are in the position to introduce the standard-based grading system. And while we are thinking about the standard-based grading system, we should find the solution for following practical issues are there. The first thing is Today, education is highly expensive. So we have to think about economically poor students' education and their success using the standard-based grading system. Second thing is the policies of teaching, learning, assessment, and lack of basic infrastructure, lack of facilities, and teachers' workload are also there. And third thing is need for more number of public educational institutes. And keeping all this in mind, if I'm fixing a standard-based grading system, and this, according to this, I have to implement certain Bloom's taxonomy in the education. So in this taxonomy suits for both formal and non-formal teaching, because in our, especially in India, we have poor people as well as the very economically well students are there. So formal for them, formal and non-formal education must be there. So in this Bloom taxonomy, creating, evaluation, analyzing, applying, understanding, remembering, or this major points. And the remembering is given as a K level, and understanding is going to be given as a K2 level, applying is a K3 level, and analyzing is a K4, and evaluation is a K5, and creating is a K6. These points should be implemented through the syllabus. This should be followed for all, as well as the question setting and the evaluation will also be a form, it should have the universal concept. That is, if K1 and K2 together 50%, and K3 and K4 to be 40, and combining K5 and K6 together as a 10. So if this is going to be the universal means, that is for evaluation as well as the assessment means, the grading system will have a very good thing. So in our institute, that is especially in St. Joseph's College, we are doing the extension activities called Shepherd. So through this, the students are involved. What is the aim of this? That is lab to land and land to lab. That means the students will go for the villages and identify the poor students and identify the poor people, and they will give education and they will give a basic need. They will satisfy. They will help for their basic need. This is also one of the part of the education, and in our institute, this also be involved in the assessment for the grading. So if this is going to be involved in this grading system, means the universal grading system actually help the human community. So as a conclusion, a future research on implementing the universal grading system, and this should investigate more students about, that is, investigate more about students' learning process and final products. So measurement instruments and data analysis related to the universal grading system should be improved for both formal and non-formal learning. The universal grading system should involve standard-based grading on teaching, learning, and assessment, and student behavior, and should balance the economical poor students also, so that students can improve their ability to achieve at a higher level education. This may improve the selection of tertiary education among the students, which can improve the better and assured employability among the students to uplift their family. This will lead to a healthy society and world peace. So my conclusion is a grading system is a very good concept, and it should be an universal grading system. So no one born as a fool or no one die as a clever. With this, I would like to end my session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for such an informative and informative session. So moving forward, our next speaker of the session is Dr. Abhigyan Bhattacharjee, madam. Sorry, Bhattacharjee, sir. Associate Professor, Department of Management, Northeast Hill University, Tura Campus, Meghalaya. Dr. Abhigyan Bhattacharjee, sir, did his Masters and PhD from the Department of Commerce, Guwahati University, and is an alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad. He has been the recipient of ICSSR Fellowship, Northeast Region for PhD in 2007 from ICSSR, New Delhi. Presently, he is working in the capacity of Associate Professor in the Department of Management, Northeastern Hill University, Tura Campus, Meghalaya, with additional charge as the Head of Placement and Counseling Cell of the campus. He has produced 5 PhD scholars thus far, and around 6 scholars are currently working under him. He has authored 5 books and has more than 50 published papers in various national and international refereed indexed journals. He has participated in more than 50 national and international seminars and conferences and acted as keynote speaker, resource person, and chaired session in such platforms. He has completed 2 major research projects funded by the ICSSR, New Delhi, and Government of Meghalaya. On behalf of COE India and SkillSlate, I welcome you, sir. Thank you, and over to Dr. Abhigyan Bhattacharjee, sir. Thank you. Hello. Sir, you are on mute mode. Please unmute yourself.
Please unmute yourself, sir. To the extreme left, can you able to see that mic icon at the lower this one? To the extreme left, please see.
I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just sharing my screen once again.
Please. Yeah. Please carry on.
Yes, sir. Please share your screen.
It is visible,
Is it
sir.
visible?
Yeah, visible very much.
Okay. So first of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank COE India and SkillSlate for giving me this opportunity. A big thank you to Dr. Raghavendran Venugopal sir, the convener of COE India, and of course Amia Agarwal, who has been very kind and cooperative throughout, and giving me this opportunity to be part of this COE India conference. And the session which I have been given an opportunity to be a resource person is this grading system, universal or diversified. Now, as far as my deliberation is concerned, I had tried to pinpoint 2 specific objectives for my session. First of all, to assess the grading system, followed by the select universities. Select universities in the sense taken 3 universities, Central University, State University, and a private university for a particular course in the Indian context. And secondly, to conclude on the basis of the findings, whether there is an universal or a diversified grading system being followed across the institutions. Now, some of the terms which has already been talked about by my previous predecessors, that is the resource persons, they have given an understanding about this credit, cumulative grade point average, that is CGPA, grade point, letter grade program, semester grade point average. So these terminologies will be part of my deliberations. Now, how did I come across this particular study? So first of all, 3 top-ranked universities, 1 central university, 1 state university, and 1 private university had been taken as per the NIRF ranking 2020. And these 3 universities are the top-ranked as per the NIRF 2020. Just for the ethical reasons, I have not mentioned the names of the respective institutions. However, it is well understood. You can easily go through the NIR ranking 2020. You can find out. And the particular course which has been taken up is the Masters of Commerce. Now, identical random marks were allotted per semester in each of these institutions wherein this Masters of Commerce course had been undertaken. And for calculating SGPA, that is semester grade point average, and CGPA, cumulative grade point average, the formula have been considered as is available in each university websites. And also the grade points and grading system have been adapted from the information as available in the university websites. Now let us come to this. This is in a nutshell. It's just for information only. This is as per the UGC guidelines, which is available in the UGC website, how they actually illustrate the SGPA or the CGPA and the grades, for instance. So this is also available as a just illustration purpose, how they calculate it. Now let me directly go ahead. Let me just, yeah. So here you can find out, see, this is the Central University, and this is the top ranked Central University, which is having the MCOM course. And from the slide, you can find out that this is the semester, first semester, which is as available in the particular course curriculum. And this is the course code for that particular institutions. And here I have made some random markings. So this is for the first semester. This is a random marking on 100 basis. So this is for managerial economics 65, organization theory 60, managerial accounting 63, advanced business statistics 55, business finance 70, marketing management 67, and human resource management 70. So this is the particular student which I had considered who have got this particular marks. And let me tell you, these particular marks, I had kept it same for the respective state as well as the private university offering the same MCOM course. So you can find it out once I go ahead with the next slide when I'll talk about state and private university. So let us find out that how did they get this particular grade point. Now you will find it that the credit per course, it's already mentioned, okay? So for managerial economics and across up to human resource management, we can see that the institution has given a credit per course as 3. So here, if a particular student gets say 65 in his managerial economics, then from this particular table, right hand side, we can see that 60 to 69, that is the marks range. If a student gets, then he gets a grade point of 7. So accordingly, with 65, 7 grade point has been put. So accordingly, if it is 60, then again, obviously 60 to 69 is 7 once again. So obviously 7. So likewise, if it is 70, then it is 8. How? Because 70 to 79, it is 8 grade points. So accordingly, these grade points had been put. Now, we multiplied this grade points with credit per course, and ultimately we got these credit points. So 21 for the first paper. Accordingly, since grade points matches and the grade point credit per course is also the same, so for the credit points is 21 across, and similarly 6 into 3 18, 8 into 3 24, 7 into 3 21, and 8 into 3 24. So this is the credit points which ultimately has been obtained by the particular student, and then a total of 150 credit points is accumulated. So for the first semester, if the semester grade point average could be calculated, so this will be calculated by dividing 150 by the total credit per course, which comes around 7.14. Now here in this particular second semester, we have again put some random marks. We assume that the particular student had been awarded this 56, 67, 70, 66, 57, 69, and 65 respectively in the particular papers. So ultimately here for 56, it is 6. Why? Because 50 to 59, it is 6 grade points. So accordingly, this particular credit point had been calculated, and we can find for the second semester CGPA comes around total of 144 divided by the total credit per course, that is 21, it is 6.8. So likewise, semester 3 and semester 4 is also being calculated, wherein similar, you see, differential random marking pattern was made for third and fourth semester respectively. So ultimately, if we find it out, then we can see that the total semester 1, semester 2, semester 3, and semester 4, the particular student gets a credit point of 21, 21, 18, and 23 respectively, and he gets SGPA of 7.14, 6.8, 7, and 7.8 respectively. So how to calculate CGPA? It is the total of credit points divided by the credit per course. So in this particular central university, if that incumbent, that is the candidate, gets into the MCOM course, so he comes out these markings ultimately with a CGPA of 7.2. So let us go ahead and see what the state university having the same MCOM course has for the marking patterns for the particular student. So let me tell you, these marks have been kept as same, okay, so that an uniformity could be maintained. So accordingly, we did not disturb this credit of papers because it is as per the university curriculum. So ultimately, we have found out this particular grade point through the marking pattern. So if it is 64, as per the grade point calculation, the state university had made this particular grade point formula, and this is percentage of marks into 0.10. So if the candidate has got this 64, 63, 66, 66, 62 respectively, then he gets grade point as 64 into 0.10 comes to 6.4, and 6.3, 6.6, 6.6, 6.2 respectively. And we find this credit points by multiplying these grade points with credit papers, credit of papers. So it comes around 25.6, 25.2, 26.4, and dot dot, and then ultimately we get it as 128.4. So how to calculate the SGPA for this particular semester? It's 128.4, that is credit points divided by the credit of papers. So it comes around 6.4. So similarly, as like the previous central university, we had also given marks, you see, the way he had got previously. So for second semester, third semester, and fourth semester, we had not disturbed the credit per course, but we found out the grade points by following the formula as given by the particular institute. So it comes 69 into 0.10, like 6.1. Then ultimately we get this 6.7, 6.5, 6.6, 6.5 respectively. And then ultimately, if we get the SGPA calculation, we find it as 132.8, that is credit points divided by credit of papers. So it comes around 6.6. So for the third and fourth semester also, identical calculation is being made. And ultimately, we find that the CGPA for this particular institution having the same MCOM course, the same candidate gets 6.9 as CGPA. So if we look back to the central university for the same course, this candidate gets 7.2 as CGPA. Following the same pattern, the same candidate having admitted into the same course of MCOM, if he passes out from the state university, he gets 6.9 as the CGPA. Now let us go ahead to the private university. Now how this private university has calculated. So we can see here the first semester, you see there are different name of the papers, different, you see, you can find out that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 papers have been, you see, kept for the first semester. However, in this state university, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 5 papers are there. And for the central university, for the same semester, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can see in the particular course also, there are different papers. However, in order to keep the identical marks, you can find out that we have kept it a similar pattern. So here, if we go ahead with the private university, then the calculation of marks, we can find out from the marks which he has got for the first paper. If it is 65, then we can get it that it is, you see, between B and C, that is 7 and 6. So we have considered 7 because it is above 6. So it is 6.65. So obviously grade point is 7. So here next is 60. So if it is 60, obviously the grade point is 6. So we have kept it as 6. So likewise, we have multiplied it, and then ultimately we get this score 136, and then we divide with the credit of papers. So we get a different set of CGPA. When we calculate overall, we can get it as, you see, credit points divided by the papers, the credit of papers, we can see as 7.9. Now, this is our overall calculation to understand. You see, the central university, we can see that number of papers is 7, 7, 7, and 8 respectively. Total credit per semester 21, 21, 18, and 23. And CGPA total that individual gets is 7.2, and SGPA 7.14, 6.8, 7, and 7.8 respectively. However, for the state university, he gets a CGPA of 6.9, and for private university, he gets a CGPA of 7.9. Now, if we see this particular box, then you can find out, we can find out that this central university, the formula for converting CGPA to percentage, here this is the way how they have calculated, say x equal to 10y minus 4.5, where x equal to percentage of marks and y equal to CGPA. So the calculation comes around as percentage. If you see that the same student who had completed his MCOM course in the central university, he gets 67.5% in his MCOM course. For state university, if you follow this marking pattern, the way the percentage of marks is being calculated, it is CGPA minus 0.5 into 10. So it comes out to 64%. It comes out to 64%. And then for private university, it is a percentage of marks into CGPA into 10. So it comes around 79%. But you see here, this is the very interesting aspect which we can find out, that for the central university, the student gets a letter grade of C with 67.5%. But with the same marks, you see, the student gets a CGP, this percentage of marks is 64, wherein the letter grade is B+. And here in the private university also, for the letter grade, B+. But you see, grade point here, he gets 7. Here he gets 7, but here it's a different, that is 8. Although the candidate is declared for, you see, in the first division, but we can see a huge difference in percentage of marks. If we calculate, if you see for central university and state university, it is 67.5%. It is 64. There is a difference of, you see, almost 3.5%. And if you calculate for state university and private university, is almost you see, for around 15%, you see. So there is a huge difference. So therefore, we can have an argument that for a candidate who has got a similar marks for, you see, factoring all the aspects taken together, but when it is being calculated by the respective grading points by the respective institutions, huge differences emanates. So therefore, since there is already a diversified grading system being followed by the respective institutions, so we advocate for a universal pattern so that the student should not face problem if suppose he gets to get an admission elsewhere with the same course of Master of Commerce, he will be declared with a different set of percentage, and obviously his grade point stands also to be different. So therefore, we advocate a universal pattern of grading system. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Moving forward, our next speaker of this session is Professor Faisal Ijaz, Controller of Examinations, University of Pokhara, Pakistan. Professor Faisal Ijaz is MS in Management Science with specialization in finance. He has vast experience of more than 14 years, mainly examinations related and other administrative tasks. His some achievements includes implemented HEC semester regulations at University of Gujarat and University of Punjab, conducted 7 convocations of university graduates so far, automated examinations for private candidates at University of the Punjab. On behalf of COE India and SkillSlate, I welcome you, sir. Thank you, and over to Mr. Faisal Ijaz, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Vigyan Nehru. First of all, you have introduced me very well, and let's start with the grading system and different type of grading system being practiced in Pakistan in different public sector and private sector universities. We have a central organization of higher education in Pakistan, that is HEC, a Higher Education Commission of Pakistan, and it oversees the grading system, and it formulates the grading system, and it also facilitates with the transformation from already in place annual system to the semester system in Pakistan. Earlier, we have an annual examination system in Pakistan where just marks were given and there was no grading, or there was a 2 or 3 grading and divisions were given against those marks. But gradually, with the passage of time and when the higher education sector become more, you can say, improved with improvement in this sector, and with the interaction of the international foreign agencies giving us grants, and for the improvement of the examination system, we have transformed from the annual system to the semester-based system. This transition was not taken place in a day or in a short time. It takes a lot of the time, and our students have to suffer a lot just because that the annual system was not being recognized widely in the internationally. Likewise, I hope that same was the problems with the Indian students who were qualifying from the India. So the reason being that Pakistan and India hopefully shares the almost equivalent examination system. We were together before the partition, and gradually we are moving towards a more transformed or a more mature grading or examination system. The examination system is not an isolated, to my understanding, is not a system which is isolated from the learning. It is a part of the learning. It is basically a depiction of the learning which a student has done. I can share you with the history of the grading system. Imagining higher education without grades of any kind may sound like an exercise in fantasy, but in fact, grades did not always exist. The roots of the university date back to the 6th century Europe, when monastic and cathedral-based schools first appeared. In the high medieval period, some of them assumed university status, the first of which was University of Bologna, founded in 1088. As far as we know, neither these institutions nor the school that spawned them graded with their students' performance. So you see, in the earlier periods of the human or mankind, there was no grading, but with the passage of the time and industrialization took place, and the education sector become more formalized in villages and in the cities of the Pakistan and other developing countries like India and Bangladesh and Afghanistan. The grades are more into the practice. Something like grade was institution just 3 centuries ago. It's not an ancient concept when European universities start hosting competitions among students for prizes and rank order. No competition was fiercer than the Cambridge Mathematical Tripos examination, began in the early 1700s and increasingly formalized during the 18th century. It took the form of a tournament in which correct answered questions moved students up the rungs and the ranking system. As they rose, students faced more challenges. So you see, this is the grading were part of the examination system when the competition was in place. The tipos went for days and offering compelling reward. The top competitors received titles that they carried with them through adulthood and substantial amounts of the money. The most successful students shared in a portion of the institution's endowment for life. Conversely, the poorest competitors suffered long-term dishonors. This is the advantages and disadvantages of the graded system. Once you grade student with some good grade, he or she has an opportunity to work in better organization, in better education institutions, or he or she can explore the higher education opportunities in the world. But with a lower grading system, he might have to suffer a lot. This doesn't mean that these grading system actually reflect the attempts and the struggles of the students. He might be taking place for examination or for a good grades or the learning process, but they have to suffer a lot. Moving on, how a better grading system should be. Now the grading system is part of our examination system, an integral part of our higher education system. It starts from the grade 1 and it goes with you till you have complete your ultimate terminal degrees. In a better grading system, there should be some feature, there should be some specifications which should be distinguished from a usual grade system to a better grading system. Grades would be tied to results, specifically what outcomes of the course students have and have not achieved. We focus just on the areas which the students have achieved, but there might be some areas which students have not achieved. But also it depends upon the learning, what you have given to them, the course content, the course coverage, and the areas which are relevant to his or her subject. And the relationship between the grades and outcome achievement could be easily explained in a syllabus. This means the course grade could be related to a program outcomes. Next, a better system would establish and maintain high standards for student work, restoring integrity to grades and reflecting discriminating professional judgment. At the same time, it would not lower an instructor student grading. The dilemma is that a teacher, when he or she gives a good grades to the students and while maintaining his integrity, he most of the time is graded at a lower rating, while the students who have been awarded with good grades and or a flexible or loose grades by the instructor are rated, the same instructor is rated higher in the system. There are some flaws in the system which must be eliminated to bring it to a good performing system. And next, ideally, a grading system would emphasize learning over grades and encourage a learning over a performance orientation. Students would want to learn, and given well-designed assessments, instruments, grades would closely mirror learning. The grade does not mean what you have achieved in numerically. It should be a true indicator of what a student has learned all throughout his degree program. A better grading system. Besides that, I would also like to add that these grading just not only reflects the student learning. There are many examples I have seen in my life. I have seen in my life when the students want to go for a higher learning, the students grading system were not recognized internationally, or the international organization were unable to understand the grades here in the Pakistan. They need some additional information. And in a universal grading system, you cannot make all the ingredients in a single grading system in a single document. You have to get additional documents. You have to supplement those. So you have to supplement the students' documents with the additional details like a certificate explaining what was his character, what his extracurricular achievements were. That should also be taken into the notice. Next, a better grading system would build in incentives for students to aim high, work hard, and do their best. It would demand strong performance to earn any point and would make inferior work unacceptable. The main objective of this grading system was to make the competition, was to bring the students into the competition, and competition is always good for the students, like in the economics and like in your economy. When you have a monopoly, it would not serve the interest of the consumers. But when you come into the competition, the organization, the employers, the higher education sector would have better opportunities, would have the better students outcome. I have seen in many cases when we have an old traditional system, annual system, where just marks were given to the students without being graded so much explicitly, like in the semester system. Their evaluation were done anonymously. In anonymous evaluation, they have the opportunity to get good marks. They have a strong background in some areas, but with the passage of time, it has been obsoleted, and we have now moved on to this new semester based examination. And there are benefits for this system, as well as we have better acceptability in local and internationally for our students. Moving on to the types of the grading system, what I have seen and observed, there are 7 types of grading systems available. These grading systems are not tied up to just one level, you can say at the university level. This grading system starts now from the school level, from grade 1 elementary level, then secondary and higher secondary, and ultimately into the university levels. And each level grading system is tied up with the next level grading system. Student performance, percentage grading. Then we have also, beside these grading system, we have other pre-admission tests. The pre-admission test means that you have sort of lesser confidence upon your previous examination. And you might be thinking that you can say that the examination in the previous cadre on the previous year is not so much excellent, or it's strong, that it can yield a product that you can solely rely upon these grades. Number one is the percentage grading from 0 to 100. This is simple percentage. You can have the marks obtained divided by the marks, total marks, into 100. Number two is the letter grading and variation from A grade to F grade. A is the highest grade and F stands for the failure grade. Number three is the norm reference grading, comparing students to each other, usually letter grades. You compare the students with the letter grades between 2, 3, or a group of the students. Mystery grading, grading students as masters or passers when their attainment reaches a pre-specified level. We can have the mystery grading not in common in Pakistan, but we have seen there are many examples and differences between the grading system. Like we have in the engineering students, grading is to some extent different from a student of the BS sociology. The grading system of engineering students is governed by the Pakistan Engineering Council, and hopefully it should be the case in other countries as well. These grading systems for the engineering students is focused on the practical and lab work and things like that. While for sociology or any of the humanities students, they don't have to rely upon the practicals. They have the field works and things like that. Number 5 is the pass and fail grading. This is a dichotomy using the common scale as pass and fail. This is the you can say the starting point of the grading scale. Number 6 is the standards grading or absolute grading system. This system is commonly used in Pakistan and widely used, and most of the higher sector institutions are using this standardized grading system. It has been given by a standardized table given by the Higher Education Commission of the Pakistan, but with the leverage that organization, with their circumstances, with their locations and other demographic factors, can have a little differences, can incorporate little differences in this grading system to pre-established standard of level. Number 7 is the narrative grading, writing comments about the students. This is in practice in the schooling. Moving on next, an improvised system would make cheating either more difficult. we have problems in the system, grading system, or it's an annual system, either it's an annual system or is a semester-based system. Less appealing or both, it would rely more on authentic assessments, focus on developing higher order cognitive skills and creativity. Like I said earlier, that grading is not solely an isolated part of the examination system or your learning. It depends upon the learning. The better the learning, the better the grades. There should be a system that the better learning should be correlated with the better grades. It should not be done like a student with a better learning gets bad grades. It means your system is not working properly. Do a better job of motivating students to learn and excel. Moving on, even the most ideal grading system would not eliminate student stress. Stress is a part of life. I don't think that you can eliminate stress from if you eliminate grades or anything. You are under stress for the whole of your life. But there are techniques that how you can tackle the stress. And educational stress is an evident part of our system. We have seen students with a younger children, and they are stressed with their homeworks and things like that. But to some extent, credit goes to the online system. They are less overburdened. The reason being, in their home settings, they are more comfortable. They can sit anywhere. But in the school setting, they have to be formalized. Moving on, but a better system would give students a stronger sense of control over their educational lives, a clearer picture of faculty expectations, more choice and violation, and a more accurate handle on what they can and cannot do at satisfactory level. It would also minimize grade-related conflicts with their instructors. There are certain problems I have seen during my whole experience at the examination departments in three mainstream universities of Pakistan. There are certain reservations from student side with their instructors that they have not been graded good. You can say most of the students have a habit of complaining for the teachers, but in some cases they have to prove to be true. The reason being, there must be subjectivity bias and other things like classroom interactions, things like that. In a better grading system, students would understand the work required for each assignment and test as well as their central role in determining their grades. Therefore, they would stop confronting their instructors with grade protests and hopefully evaluate their faculty more gently. The behavior of the teachers and the instructors at the university level matters a lot. And we have seen many teachers, and I till today remember my teachers, my professor at the university level who have taught us, and we pray for those people. In an ideal grading system, the faculty's most time-consuming and detail-oriented task would be writing or scripting their expectations, standards, and directions for assignments, and does so as to communicate them clearly to their students. Most of the time, I have seen the problem that students are not aware of the expectations, but they are expected. What sort of the grades? They are just moving. They are just struggling for the grades, and they miss what is the learning outcome they are expected. This may mean checking students' comprehension by having them paraphrase back those expectations or grade or work simple against them. In any case, students would understand what they need to do to get any given grade in such assignment, in each assignment, and the course overall. As we have seen, many of the characteristics in ideal grading systems rest on this clarity. The student must be aware with the rules and regulations, with the semester grading tables, and the problem areas, or with they can be might land into a trouble. They must be aware with these problems. I would like to share a problem with the people. We were awarding students with the letter grades of IP. IP stands for there are certain projects in some semester, in a particular semester, which can be carried forward up to 2 semesters. When the students were awarded transcript, the grade is in the first semester where he or she enrolled in the first instance, it was graded as IP, or incomplete grades, IC. and then the next semester the grades evaluation was fixed. When he or she was awarded transcripts, he moved into the market, came back and said, there is a problem. People say you have not completed your degrees. There is term written on it as incomplete. I cannot take this transcript back and give me a more detailed or with a better letters transcript. So we have to make our system improved with these feedback, and we incorporated the term in progress projects, in progress your assignments, and we started awarding these transcripts, and the problems and the complaints reduced to a great level. Obviously,
Last 3 minutes, sir. You have last 3 minutes, sir.
Okay. So I would speedily complete my other slides. Grading system in Pakistan. We have 3 types of the grading system in Pakistan: absolute grading system, relative grading system, and rubric method. As I already told that absolute grading system is the most widely used grading system in Pakistan at the higher education level. I can say that, or at the college level, that none of the colleges in the Pakistan are using annual mode of examination. They have moved towards the absolute grading system. A relative grading system is being practiced in few universities, but there are certain problems that students have due to the lack of understanding. They have certain complaints with the relative grading system. They are not so much satisfied with the normal curves, and rubric method is not currently being used in Pakistan. This is the way of the calculating CGPA. This is the same as like other countries, and the previous presenter presented it very well. And I was, and these are the grading tables. And for the higher education, secondary education, this is the grading table for Federal Urdu University of Arts, Science and Technology, and National University of Science and Technology, Bahria University, and last one is for the University of Gujarat. As I told you, the last one is the incomplete grade, represented by a letter grade I, and and above from this is the withdrawal W. Students don't have the complete or clear understanding with these grades. They might have some problems while explaining these to their employers and where they move for their higher studies. Universal or diversified grading system. Grading and reporting system are not essential to the instructional process. Teachers do not need grades or reporting forms to teach well, and students can and do learn many things well without them. It doesn't depend. The students' learning solely depends upon the grades. Learning was in practice when there were no grades, and we have students with bad grades, but their learning or their technical background is it's outstanding. It must be recognized, therefore, that the primary purpose of grading and reporting is other than facilitation of teaching or learning. Grading and reporting serve as a variety of purposes. No one method serves all purposes as well. Likewise, I told and I have shared with you that just one transcript in most of the cases does not serve all the purpose of the students for job seeking. Or when he moves into the foreign countries for higher education, he needs additional documents. Our system should be like that, or our examination departments or control of examiners should be like that. They should get feedback. They should invite students that they share with their experiences with them, and improve documents outlook and the data being populated in those documents. Grading and reporting require inherently subjective judgments. So grading is a professional judgment, and the more detailed analytic the grading process, the more likely it is that the subjectivity will influence results. There are subjectivity bias, as I have discussed earlier, and that should be removed. In a better grading system, it should be removed, or it should be checked by a group of teachers besides a single teacher. Grades have some value as reward, but no value as punishment. This is a drawback, and grading and reporting should always be done in reference to learning criteria, never on the curve. As I have discussed, that it depends upon the learning process, not on the rote process. Conclusion: the issue of grading and reporting to student learning continues to challenge educators. However, more is known at the beginning of the 21st century. The discussion on the grading table is not yet completed. It's a ongoing process. a more detailed variants and a more comprehensive, a more transparent variants of the grading tables are being emerged. And I am happy to see that that countries like Pakistan and India are being involved in this process, I think that a diversified system should help. There are two limits: are universal and diversified. We land in between these two extremes. We don't have a single unified or an ideal system, just because we have demographics and we have the students' problems, their economic classes, and we must come up with a system that should acknowledge and that should combine all these problems and all these areas with each other. Thank you. This is from my side. If you have any question, you are welcome.
Thank you, Faisal sir. We will come
so
back
much,
to you.
We will take the questions at the end. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Faisal sir. On our next speaker of the session is Dr. Meghna Chotalia, madam, Assistant Professor and Head of the Department of Accountancy, RD National College, Bandra West, Mumbai. Dr. Meghna has done Masters of Financial Management from Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management. She has done PhD in Commerce, that is banking, from SNDT Women's University, Churchgate, Mumbai. LLM, that is Master of Laws, specialization in Business Laws, University of Mumbai. LLB from University of Mumbai. Dr. Meghna has tremendous teaching experience of 13 years UG level and PG level, 10 years at PG level. She has published 14 publications and authored 3 books. On behalf of COE India and SkillSlate, I welcome you, madam. Thank you, and over to Meghna Chotalia, madam. Madam, please unmute yourself. You are on mute.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah. So I'll start my slides. First is about what is grading system. Basically, grading system is typically used for performance evaluation of students. It determines the educational performance of candidates. As of today, we know that the grading systems differ from college to college, from university to university, from institution to institution, and also from state to state, and from country to country. Grades affect the career and future of the students. Now coming to the grading systems which exist as of today across the globe, the typical traditional grading system is percentage grading, where the candidate is graded anywhere between 0% to 100%, and there is a cutoff passing percentage, which is again commonly followed as of today also. Then second is letter grading and variations. Here we have grades which are given depending upon the percentage. These are converted into grades. The grades can be from O to D or A to E or A to F. Again, this differs from university to university and college to college. Then the next is norm referenced grading, where grades in the form of letters are assigned to students and they are compared to each other. Like the student who has got highest marks, 80%, he is given A grade. The next is 70%, is given B grade. So based on the student's performance, they are compared and grades are assigned. Mastery grading, we have 2 types of grades here, masters and passers. There is a specified level. Anybody getting above 60% are classified as masters. Anybody below 60% are passers. Then pass or fail. This is very common only in subjects where it's difficult to grade on a objective basis. You know, subjects like fine arts, physical education, computer training, where either the student is pass or fail. Then standard grading or absolute, where marks are given, percentage is similar to percentage grading, but again your standard of passing is fixed and grades are assigned as per the percentage achieved. Narrative grading, this is very common in foreign universities, especially UK, Canada, US, where the students' performance is written in the form of comments or feedback. Actually, this increases the workload of the faculties, where students are 120 or 200 writing comment on each student. It's difficult for the faculty, but then the students get a feedback on a personal level about their performance over here. Next is now the main topic, core topic is universal versus diversified, which is better. Okay, as of now, we all know that we don't have universal grading system. We have diversified grading system, but with the new education policy which is likely to be introduced in the few years, we do expect to have a universal grading system across the world. Now, what are the pros and cons of universal grading system, which doesn't exist today? But if we have this in the future, what will be the advantages of universal grading system? First is ease of collaboration or tie-ups for courses. This is very common with the advent of privatization and globalization of education in India, higher education. We have foreign university tie-ups, collaboration, and if we have a universal grading system, this collaboration becomes easier. The admission cutoffs or passing cutoffs will be similar. So collaboration and tie-ups will be easier. Then next is comparability of grades. If it's universal. Take an example of a student in terms of finance, a commerce student, the Bachelor of Commerce student. If he has got 80%, he's a topper of the class. But if he gets 60%, he'll be termed as average. He'll get only B grade or A grade, not O grade. But the same student, if he pursues a chartered accountancy course, in that case, what will happen is a person ranker, all India ranker will get only 60%. Okay, so comparability will be easier if it's similar. 60% is topper in chartered accountancy and BCom also. So comparability becomes easier. But if you say you got only 60% in chartered accountancy, but he's a ranker. So it's easy to compare the grades if the system is universal. Then ease of assessing credentials of the candidates. If there are two systems in two universities, the same candidate, you can easily compare, and the credentials of the candidate in both the universities, he is pursuing law in one university or a diploma in another university. So the performance will be graded on a similar criteria. So it's easy to judge the credentials of the candidates. Next is globalization of higher education. Again, we expect this to have it more in coming years with the new education policy. Foreign universities will be coming in India more and more. We already have it in India right now, but foreign universities, their grading system is different. As we know, in India also, it varies from university to university. But if it's standardized, universal, globalization will be an easy process. Next is one more advantage of universal grading system is shift from technology society to knowledge society. Now, technology society is only disseminates the raw data, but knowledge society converts that information or data into information, providing only data, providing data, converting that into information is knowledge society. So, in the virtual learning background, we have MCQ type of exams, multiple choice exams. It's a typically technology society. But in offline mode, you have to write the paper of a marketing subject for 10 marks, or the case study. This is what knowledge society does. Okay, so in universal grading system, it's easier to shift from technology society to knowledge society. Now coming to the disadvantages or limitations of universal grading system. Credit transfer problem. Like suppose a student in between a degree, okay, he wants to take a transfer to another course from BA to BCom, or from Bachelor of Arts to Science, he wants to take admission after first year of degree college. Then credit transfer is difficult if it's not universal. If means what will happen is that how much credit he has scored in your science background and how much credit he has scored in the arts background. If it's universal, then this is going to be a problem. Then inherent problems in internal assessment. Now, I would say there are two types of assessment. Recently, with the advent of globalization and foreign universities entering in India, internal assessment and external assessments are two components of assessments. So now what are there are some problems which are inherent in internal assessment. Like internal assessment, like project marks, classroom participation marks. Then there's a lot of prejudiced subjectivity coming in over here. A same project which is assessed by 10 professors, they will give different marks to the same project. But if you have a balance sheet in a finance subject, okay, 10 professors, balance sheet is tallied, 10 marks balance sheet, all professors everywhere will give 10 marks. That is external assessment. So your inherent problems in internal assessment will be there in universal grading system. It's difficult to have a proper internal assessment system if the grading is expected to be uniform. Then just a minute, sorry. Yeah, then yes, variation in grading criteria. So this is one more limitation of universal grading system. Because the level of knowledge, the level of learning outcomes, the quality of teaching varies from university to university, college to college, and then having the same grading criteria would be a difficulty because the level of learning, teaching outcomes, everything is different. So you need to have it standardized. The teaching, learning outcomes need to be standardized. Then only you can go for a universal grading system, which is a practical difficulty which is going to always persist. Next is lack of clarity on relationship between learning outcome and course grades. This is a problem in internal assessment. A case study, example of an MBA student doing case study. 120 students do a case study. When I was doing my MBA, 120 students were there. So 120 students are given a case study to solve. So everybody will give different answers. What is their learning is difficult to judge when it's a universal grading system. Then next is a difference between evaluation and assessment. Now, how would you differ this point? Evaluation and assessment. Assessment is typically a objective assessment. 10 out of 10 marks, 1 mark question, 1 mark you written right, 1 mark you get, otherwise wrong to 0. In evaluation, it's more of an internal assessment system. Evaluating means you judge the so many things of the candidate. You judge the qualities of a candidate. You evaluate. You have a feedback system. You have a form where you have to fill up the judgment ability of the student, understanding of the student, learning outcome, where you have to judge the points like, these are more of subjective assessments. These you have to judge on individual to individual basis. So this is going to be a problem in universal grading system where it's easy to assess but difficult to evaluate. Next, now coming to the pros and cons of diversified grading system. Yeah, so now diversified grading system, just a minute, I'll just change the slide. Now I can say that what are the pros of universal system will be cons of diversified system and vice versa. Okay, so diversified grading system, it's which is persisting today in all the universities. We have different grading systems across the universities. Now, what are the pros, advantages of diversified grading system? It reflects the differences in the level of learning and evaluation. As I said, IIT, IIM, their level of learning and evaluation is different, and the University of Mumbai, for example, their level of learning and evaluation is different. So grading systems will be different from university to university and from college to college. So like example, I'll give an example where I used to go to teach to IIT. I was given an opportunity to teach for a semester. There the system was relative grading system. There was a subject called marketing. Okay? In marketing, I said, how much you got? The topper has got 5 out of 100. But 5 out of 100 is what the topper has got. Okay, and 5 is the cutoff. So now everybody is going to get less than 40 marks. So 4 out of 5 is 90%. 3 out of 5 is 80%. So this is relative grading system which IIT, IIMs follow, which they have taken from the foreign universities. And in typical university and college system, this is not followed. Out of 100, you get marks. Out of 100, whatever you written is right. 80 out of 100, 70 out of 100. So in diversified grading system, it's easy to, to compare the differences between the learning and evaluation. Next is reflect the differences in the quality of teaching and evaluation. Level of learning and evaluation from the student's perspective, and quality of teaching and evaluation from the teacher's perspective. So how the teacher has taught. If you give a case study, how many will be able to attempt in a different way? How many are attempting the answer in what is expected from them? That reflects the teaching quality and evaluation quality. In internal assessment, this is going to be a problem. There is going to be a prejudice, subjectivity in assessment in diversified systems. But universal system, this will not happen. Then compare the performance with standards set by each system. In diversified grading system, the cutoffs are different. Like a CA course, cutoff is 50%. Okay, so everybody has to get 50% average 40% and cutoff is 50%. The system is different over there. Then in your typical university bachelor system, master's colleges courses, we have 50% passing cutoff. In master's courses 60%. So cutoff is set by the system, by each college, by each university. You get above that cutoff, you are pass. If you get below that cutoff, you are fail. This is very simple in diversified grading system. Now, what are the cons of disadvantages of diversified grading system? Lack of comparability. It's difficult to compare because, as I said, a CA student got 60%. He's a ranker, but he was a 60. You got this is too less. But a master's student, an MBA student has got 60%. He's termed as average. A bachelor student, 12th standard, he's 60% is only B grade average. But a 60% with CA degree is a ranker of India. So lack of comparability, you can't compare. In bachelor he has got 60%, in CA has got 60%. You can't compare 60% is average in CA degree or 60% is average in bachelor degree. So you can't compare if the systems are diversified. Then difficulty in tie-ups across institutions. Like, we have typically seen students who go for international studies, then they have to convert that 15+1, 15+2. So the difficulty in tie-ups, they pursue masters only for 1 year so that they can get admission in foreign universities. So tie-ups, when it comes to tie-ups, and the system, admission systems will have a problem, like, what should be the minimum cutoffs, because the systems of grading are different. In your mark sheet in the previous university, it was A grade, B grade, C grade. But the foreign universities would have a different grading system, percentage system or whatever. Then absolute and grading and relative grading. So this is what I would say. Relative grading is more of a internal assessment. Absolute grading is external assessment. Okay, relative grading is mostly in case studies, projects, classroom participation, and absolute grading is give marks out of so much marks, numbers, raw numbers. So there will be a difference in the grading systems if it's a diversified. These I already spoke when I was talking about the pros of the unified system. Now, next point is need for training on different grading systems, especially faculty switching over to different universities or colleges. This is going to be a problem. I also had a problem when I went for IIT teaching. I was not aware the system of grading. I thought 60% is passing. They said, ma'am, you can give 5 also. Then also they will not fail. I said, how that's possible? Out of 100, you're getting 5 and you're not failing. No, you're the topper if you get 5 marks. That is possible in IITs. That I learned, and I had to take training. I had to ask the faculties what is to be done over here, how the grading is there. So training is to be given, especially faculties who are switching over to different systems or different colleges. Then last is grading by teaching assistants who rarely discuss the grading practice with faculty members. In India, this is not a common system which is followed by universities. This is typically followed in foreign universities. But now with the globalization and foreign universities entering in India, this has become common. There are, top institutes, elite institutes like IIT, IIM. They appoint PhD students as teaching assistants. And each faculty is given one PhD student who will become your TA. Now, what they have to do is they will grade you. You take the test as a faculty and the grading will be done by the teaching assistant. They are PhD students. They have some minimum qualification. And the grading is decided by them. They will check your papers. You only set the papers, take the test. Grading is done by TA. Now, what TA does may not be in line with the faculty members. Okay, faculty members have some different criteria, but in order to save their time and resources, they are given a teaching assistant. They will do the grading. Now, that may not match with the criteria which is set by the university. So this may happen in diversified grading system where assessment is done by teaching assistant and the test is taken by the faculty. So this is again a problem which might come slowly. This may be introduced in university systems in India, which is borrowed from foreign universities. That's all about it. Thank you. Any questions?
Ma'am, question will be taken at the last of the session. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now I would like to introduce the sessional chair of this session, Dr. Jayesh Joglekar sir, Deputy Controller of Examinations, MIT World Peace University, Pune, India. Dr. Joglekar has completed PhD in Electrical Engineering from Savitribai Phule Pune University, formerly University of Pune, in January 2016. His topic of research was a novel power grid restoration scheme using active generalized unified power flow controller. Dr. Zoglekar has more than 15 years of experience in the field of education. During these years, he has held various academic positions as assistant and associate professor. He is serving MIT World Peace University as a deputy controller of examinations since 2017. Dr. Zoglekar is the recipient of Ideal Teacher Award by Maharashtra Academy of Engineering and Educational Research, MAIR, on 6th September 2016. He is approved postgraduate teacher of electrical engineering under Faculty of Engineering in Savitribai Phule, Pune University. His area of interest is the examination management system, microgrid operations and controller, grid restoration analysis, modeling and design of power system, Icelanding with microgrid. He has published more than 10 research papers and 2 book chapters in various reputed national and international journals and books. Dr. Zoglekar was involved in consultancy and funded projects, which includes design of smart energy monitoring and management systems for mobile towers, Indus towers in the year 2017, verification of electrical circuit design at 40 MLD STP, Sambalpur for Government of Odisha, India in the year 2017. Dr. Zoglekar was member of Board of Studies for Electrical and Electronics Engineering, MIT World Peace University. He has also worked as member of Staff Selections Committee for Pune University and MIT ADT University, and member of Local Inquiry Committee for Pune University. I would like to mention that Dr. Zoglekar sir was the organizing committee member of Next 2020 as well as IDEA 2021. On behalf of COE India and SkillSlate, I welcome you, sir. Thank you, and over to Dr. Jayesh Zoglekar, sir.
Thank you, Mahesh sir, for this introduction. Now I just want to request for the screen share from Ameya.
Yes, sir. Allow me a second.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We are waiting for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I hope it is visible.
Yes, it is visible, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much. As a session chair, it is always a job to summarize all the speakers and to add the additional points for the particular topic. So I start with the introduction of this entire thing. We started with the universal or diversified grading system. It is always a debate. As that is present in our conference name also, it is a debatable part whether to consider a universal grading system or you consider the diversified grading system. Both these grading systems have their own merits, demerits, their usability, non-usability, their impact on national, international assessments and all that thing. So of course, when we proceed with the presentation, then we'll come to one conclusion, or that could be an opinion that whether to go with the universal one or with the diversified one. Now coming to a point about the universal grading system. The universal grading system is mostly or well known with its numerical and letter grades. So for example, nowadays, whatever the grades which we are, the normal Indian universities are given, it is O for the outstanding, A plus, A, B plus, B, C, P, P for pass, and F for fail. So all these grading system or letter grading system are based on the universal grading system, and it is governed by UGC, University Grant Commission in Indian universities. Similarly, there are numerical grades also. There could be a conversion from letter grade to numerical grades also. In universal grading system, the percentage grades are also available, which we are familiar with, and that is normally used in the 10 plus 2 or in the 10th standard grading system. The percentage wise grading system we normally consider. The universal grading system is also utilized for the or to generate the rank based grades, which is normally called as a bell curve. And with the help of that bell curve, we can identify the student in the top 20% or middle 50% or remaining student, and all that thing can be fitted in the bell curve, and that system also considered as to be a universal grading system. Diversified grading system is mostly a tailor-made one. For example, if we want to start a program of particular thing, then depending upon the learning ability, depending upon the input of student, depending upon the course outcome or learning outcome, this tailor-made system is normally generated. This system is mostly between the or require the requirements of the student as well as their pace of learning. So few students are fast learning, few students are slow learning, and based on that only this system is normally designed. The special examination conducted year on year is also can be considered with the diversified grading system, and this diversified grading system is normally adopted for a particular course or a particular stream or particular program only. Diversified grading system may create a credit transfer issue because diversified grading system will have a difficulty from letter grades or from percentage grade and their conversion. Now we are looking after the what are our speakers contributed or told in their presentation for this universal and diversified grading system. We started with the Sharmila madam from Global Indian International School, Bangalore. She emphasized on the need and requirements of grading system. Uniformity is necessary, and on the top of that, she also discussed about the diversification of the grading system. The different grading system she talked about, pros and cons about the grading system also she was explained. There are four constraints which are or concerns which are considered in the her presentation, and those are it is region based grading system, career based grading system, standard and research based grading system. In the recommendation she explained about the learning outcomes, then development, and the things which are required for a particular understanding for that particular learning of that program, which will consider the particular grading system. The second speaker, Datta sir from Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad University, Technical University, West Bengal. He also emphasizes on the grading system as well as the system adopted in that particular university. Continuous, he also showed the continuous assessment, the part of continuous assessment and other part. Then he also considered about the semester activities and end term activities which we are considering and which the particular university is considering. He also emphasizes on the particular MAR system which they consider to take out the maximum from the student and keep them engaged during the lockdown also. And the process of online examination was discussed by the Datta sir. Cynthia ma'am from St. Joseph College, Trichy, she also explained about the grading scale and their problems in the grading scales. Grading system shall take the care of student learning. It is a main motto or main objective for that grading system, and how it is, she explained very well in her presentation. Formal and non-formal learning is to be graded, and the importance of that also explained by Cynthia ma'am in her presentation. Then tertiary education and the importance of tertiary education in the upliftment of student and of course in the upliftment of the society was explained by her in her presentation. So these all part are the gives the new view for the grading system. Normally grading system is considered for the part of a grade cards only. But because of the grading system, how the society can develop, how the society can get upliftment, or how society get the benefit, that also was explained by Cynthia madam in her presentation. Abhigyan sir from the Northeastern Hilly University, Meghalaya, also told about the grading system, but very beautifully he compares the central, state and private university part in his presentation. So he compares the master's program, Master of Commerce program in his presentation for one program for central university, one program for state university, and one program for private university. But depending upon the GPA, CGPA calculation, as well as the percentage conversion of these three universities, it was observed that the private university student with the same program, with the same credits and all same pattern gets more benefit because of the percentage conversion. And it was very thoughtfully shown in his presentation, and the comparison was fabulous, and to see as a case study that how the central university, state-owned university and a private university for one particular program can generate the different grades. Our Faisal Aziz Shah from Okra University also mentioned about the grading pattern, particularly in the Pakistan. The Higher Education Council in Pakistan has a command on the central grading system all over the Pakistan. So they govern that particular grading system. He also emphasizes on the correct grading system, that importance of correct grading system. Otherwise, the grading system may create a chaos for the student also, for the teacher also, and as a result for the entire society also. He also put the importance of syllabus, which should reflect the relation between the grades and skill, because it is observed many times in India also, or throughout the world also, that whatever the grades and whatever the skill may mismatch with each other. Student may have a more skill, but they fail to convert those skill into grades. So that syllabus itself should take the help, or it should take the responsibility of converting those skill to the grades. Then grade pattern should encourage the learning is a common part which was emphasized by all the speakers. And it is a very important thing is that the grade, the entire world or entire your grade card, much you can use that learning in your day-to-day life should also be encouraged with the grading system in the entire your grade card. Then different difference between the grading system and different programs are also explained by the Faisal sir. Last, Meghna madam from RD National College, Mumbai, explains about the types of grading system and their needs. So grading system could be a universal or could be a diversified. Both, as I said, both has pros and cons for that particular usage. Universal grading system can be used for a particular place, for a particular program. Same way, the diversified grading system also can be used for a different program. And both are having the advantages and disadvantage. It is now depend upon the particular university or particular program, or it may be a I can say shoulder responsibility of a controller of examinations throughout the country, that they have to choose the particular grading system for as per the need of the student or as per the need of the society around their university. For example, in our case, in Maharashtra Institute, Maharashtra MIT World Peace University, we are using the absolute grade. We are not using the cumulative grade or normalization point, only because the student which we are having is from diploma to post graduation or up to the PhD also. And based on their needs, based on their background, based on their learning ability, we have to change our grading pattern. We have to change our grading system. And that's why we are using the universal grading system, letter grading system as per the UGC norms. In short, to conclude my entire presentation, I would like to say that the grading system should match the need of the system. Now, what is the system? System is nothing but it is inclusive of student, inclusive of teachers, it is inclusive of society, it is inclusive of the need of the society. So system has a many stakeholders, and those many stakeholders are having a typical requirements, and those requirements should be fulfilled by the grading system, as well as it should be implemented accordingly. The grading system shall accommodate all kinds of students, as I mentioned earlier also. The students, those are having a fast learning, those students, those who are having a slow learning, those who are having a average learning pattern, all those kinds of students should be considered or should be accommodated by the grading system. It should not reflect that this grading system is for the very bright students only. This grading system is for all dumb students only. It should not be. The grading system should not grading system should not discriminate between the students and their skill set. It is all depend upon the learning ability of the student, and how perfectly you convert those learning abilities into the grading is important nowadays, rather than giving a particular typical grade systems. The point which I want to consider that grading should not be grinding. Nowadays, students run behind the grading systems, and that grading system literally grind their ability to achieve the something extra. Few of the institution has additional point, like Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad Technical University, as mentioned in the in the West Bengal. They have a different MAR system. In that system, they try to extract more from the student, and that more is always beneficial for the student to give for the society as well as for their self-development. Last but not the least point, that is about the total system which we are considering. I am of the opinion of using the universal system, only because the universal system grading systems are well accepted by all the examination patterns or all the countries in their particular universities, and those will normally help student to transfer from one university to other university. Diversified grading system is also a great thing, but sometimes when there is a credit transfer take place, then diversified grading system need to be evaluated by that particular university again to make the equivalence, and that may create a difficulty for the student to take the higher education or to go for a particular assessment or to go for a particular assignment in that particular university. So with this, I conclude my session, and I thank all the speakers to contribute in this particular session with a huge and vast spectrum of information, knowledge, and of course their own inputs for this grading system between the diversified and universal one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Jayesh, for beautifully summarizing the entire session. Before we walking out to the sponsoring session, I would like to thank our first speaker, Dr. Sharmila Chaudhary Madam, who could able to put some inputs about how the schooling grades have been into and how the difficulties have been poised. Thank you, Dr. Sharmila Madam. If you are there well within, I highly appreciate you for contributing immensely on that. So coming to the next speaker, Dr. Subhashish Datta sir. Well, it was off late that we invited you. I am very sorry for that, but it was a very spectacular demo that you tried to give it for us. How your university has been working, what kind of the MIRs that you are trying to take it from the from the students, and that too from the largest affiliate system, not the private entity which we are we challenge ourselves, but from the state university with 1,500 plus, 1,50,000 students plus, taking such kind of an activity is a very huge and very challenging one. But I congratulate you and I thank you that you shared your thoughts and mind with us. Thank you for that, sir. And our next speaker was Dr. Cynthia A. Well, fantabulously that she tries to put before our before us about the literatures available across from UGC to NEP to many other things that how the grade system could be able to challenge ourselves, and what was her thoughts by concluding that the universal system which could be a much better one. Getting into the further results, sir. All the way that he came and joined us from Pakistan, that he also shared the trust element of the students and the Higher Education Council of the Pakistan, and how they intend to look upon and how things gets changes from there. It was very keen to know about our neighborhood country also have a very different things, and he also emphasized on the universal grade system. I'm very much happy for that. I should also thank Dr. Abhignan sir. He very spectacularly, or rather I was mesmerized to see the beautiful case study that presenting before us, the state university in comparison with private as well as the state, with the similar numbers, how the percentage and the CGPA varies. So it's an eye opener, and we will take it up for a case study. I hope that we will try presenting before the Ministry of Education, especially this session attains a lot of importance. Grading is one such instrument which where the lot amount of future students is been we are scripting the future, if you have to say that in a very particularly, in a very specific manner. So if the scales are same or similar in nature, I hope that every student will get a befitting opportunity. As the scales differs, hopefully, the creamy layer people will get the creamy opportunities, and the person who has been slow learners might get a very disadvantages in this opportunity, be it on a higher education perspective or at the job perspective. Thanks for that, for the case study. Beautifully that you tabled before. It was a very good, nice session from your end, sir. Getting into the Faisal sir, getting into the Meghna madam. It's her own experience that she spoke to us. We have been as a teachers in various institutions, but when it's institution to institution, we get changes. Okay, how far that we have to get acquainted. And what if we have been not acquainted? That also been a big question mark. And what if we get acquainted and fail to take it up ahead? That's a lot of the permutations combination that she has tried to portray us before us very nicely. I thank you once again, ma'am, for the very beautiful presentation. By large, with a wholehearted that Dr. Desh could able to summate the various multi-directional thoughts of grading system. Either it should be diversified or universal. I think that majority of the resource people fall in one category by expressing themselves that they want to fall into the universal system. We take that in consideration, and this session will be definitely recorded in the days to come, because that we will definitely emphasize, if not for the world, at least for the one nation, one grading system will definitely going to help the students benefit. Hopefully in different nations, we might have on a scale conversions, other things. It depends upon, some resource have said that, regional and national identity can be considered while when we're considering the grading system. I think that, to have a universal system, we might get a one national identity. In that regard, I'll close my, the closure remarks, and I thank each and every resource people who will be part with this session. And I thank COE India, for making a beautiful, session on this. And I also thank SkillSlate India for being getting connected to the wider spectrum, wider audience through YouTube. And we will have a sponsored session upcoming, and I request Amaya to take over from here. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. You may leave the session now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just a 5 seconds, sir. Thank you so much. Just a 5 seconds intervention. Well, I just wanted to thank the organizer, especially COE India and SkillSlate, for giving me this opportunity to be part of this August platform, and also to learn so many things from the different resource persons. And a big thank you to Jayesh Joglekar sir for nicely moderating at the end and giving the snippets of all the information. So a big thank you, and big thank you to COE India and Amia Agarwal, of course, Raghavendran Venugopal sir. So thank you, sir. So would like to meet in the future also. So with all the success from my end, I wish all the best. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We will definitely do a summit at your university, sir, next time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Most welcome. We'll be in touch. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Amay, over to you. Yogesh, you could take over from here. Amay has also been busy here.
Sure. Thank you, Professor Raghavendran Venugopal, sir. Well, a very good afternoon to all the esteemed dignitaries of.
One second, Yogesh. I hope that Amay is here. He's got some network issue. Amay, beta, you are there?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, you give some information to YouTube.
Sir, if possible, let us take a couple of questions before we begin. The audience was very keen for the interaction.
Gio, we forgot
so
that.
If any speakers are there,
Please. I am there. I'll take the questions on behalf of the session. And I forgot to let know about that. Please, Amay, please carry on. I'm so sorry for that. We have one or two people here also. We could be able to take it up. Amay, take the question.
Yes. The one question was about One question was about universal grading system, which was talked a little about in the conference. So yesterday we discussed about the discrepancy in the online and offline mode of examination. So already we have one kind of discrepancy, and if we imply a universal grading system, so what will be the lasting impact of that particular thing? If anyone can explain that in a simple manner for all the audience who are not controller of examinations. Obviously, for a simple teacher, how can that impact their regular routine?
Meghna ma'am, are you there?
Yeah, so I'm there.
Can you able to inform, because they are asking it from the teacher rather than the controller? Could you able to answer the question, or shall I answer it, ma'am?
Yeah, you can answer it, sir. Actually, yeah, it's fine.
Thank you, Meghna madam. Amay, I will take this question. Well, it is very simple.
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, it's very simpler, and it is also very complex in nature. For the administrator, it becomes more simpler in nature. But for the teacher, as a question which I understand it in rightly, that how simpler that we could make it greater, as much as possible. See, madam, or the teacher, or whomsoever that has been asked. See, we as the administrators, as the controllers, which we try to elevate the students' performance as much as possible, and that too from the like kind of a groups, and that is why this grading system we came into the picture. We could able to pull up one set of number of marks so that we could able to grade it up accordingly. This grading of the grouping, or rather grouping of the grades or the marks, is becoming more challenging as of now. Certain universities make group of 10 marks as one grades. There are certain universities which make group of 7 as one grades, 7 marks. Or there are set of universities who make a group of 5 marks into the grading system. So this is the question mark that we have, that we would like to simplify as much as possible. But you as a teacher, need to focus upon two major perspectives. One, the teaching of your given courses, and you need to understand that the knowledge transfer is as easy as much possible for the students. If you make it very easier for the student to learn, I'm pretty sure that the grade will follow by. Okay, not keeping the grade before us, and we should not be able to teach the students. Grade always should follow by, because it is a testing scale or instrument, how the student have reciprocated or been recipient of your teaching or your thoughts. So with this, I'll say that though it is very simpler, it is a complex in nature. Complex is always there with the administrative process, and it is very simpler that for these teachers that to teach better, so that the student could able to get the grade better. Simple as that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, respected audience. Now we are moving on to the sponsor session. Thank you so much for staying up with us for this wonderful session. Next session will begin at 2 p.m. sharp. Currently, this is a sponsored session by Eon India, who will be helping us understand about the work they do with the technology to make education and grading simpler. So please feel free to attend this session. I am sharing the link for the session 2 in the YouTube chat box. Please visit the link and kindly set on the reminder. So when we go live at 2 p.m., you don't miss it. Please let me know if you have received the link. Kindly comment a thumbs up in the YouTube chat, so I will know that you have received the link and have set the reminder. I will wait for a minute to check if all of you have received the link. Kindly send a thumbs up in the chat and please set on the reminder. I will also share the link on the email as well as in the WhatsApp group because the next session is the last session of this international conference, and it would be a very beautiful session because we will also be showing some videos which we received from our speakers as well as the participants, and we will also be sharing some amazing statistics. So please stay with us
Request,
in the next session,
small request,
and please save the link.
Small request
Yes,
from
sir.
my
Yes,
end.
please.
ask all the audience to have
Yes,
a
sir.
on tea, coffee, biscuits, so that it will be a very marathon session up to 6:30.
Yes. We do have a marathon session, yes. And our audience is quite fit mentally and physically. They have been staying with us for 7 or 8 hours straight. So I'm sure they will be staying with us today as well. So audience, please enjoy the sponsored session and see you again at 2 p.m. on the next session. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ion India team.
Thank you, Amay. And Amay, I would request you to, yes, given me the credits. Yes, please.
Yogesh, you have a time up to 1:45.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'll be far from my laptop now for 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, sure, please.
All right.
Yogesh sir, if you would like to make someone host, you can make someone host. If someone would else like to share the screen, all right?
Yes,
I have made you the host at present.
Sure. Thank you, Amay. Thank you, Professor Raghavendran Venugopal, sir. Very good afternoon to all the esteemed academicians who have been continuously supporting IDEA 2021. We, Ion Idea, is a US-based MNC, and we are the corporate sponsors for IDEA 2021. And we at Ion Idea, we are a 25-plus-year-old software solutions company from the US, and we are headquartered in Virginia, Fairfax. We are a ISO 9001, 27001 CMML level 3 company, and we are also a member of NASSCOM with more than 1,500 plus engineers working for organization globally. Educational automation is the passion of Ion Idea, and Ion Idea has been relentlessly working with more than 100 plus clients across the globe in addressing the critical academic and examination activities and automating all these activities through its flagship products. Well, in the academic domain, these are our flagship products which we offered for educational institutions, and these products can work as an integrated academic ERP, or else even as individual standalone solutions to address your critical functionalities. The very first thing is ION Kudos, which stands for ION Curriculum Development Operating System, which is a OB, outcome-based education or competency-based education automation tool for successful implementation, measurement, and continual quality improvement and generation of your SAR reports required for your accreditations. Then we have ION EMS, which stands for ION Examination Management System, which is a comprehensive solution to automate the end-to-end examination activities of universities, autonomous institutions, and as well as affiliated institutions. We have we are well versed with various versatile grading methods, various methods of calculation of your GPAs, grade point averages, and everything. So the complete diversified automated system is available with us with the domain expertise. Then we have ION Admission, which is a comprehensive end-to-end admission management system. Then we have a digital valuation solution where the end semester transcripts are digitized and pay for online evaluation by the evaluator. Then we offer learning management system, which is a comprehensive OB-based or OB-enabled learning management system, which ensures complete integrity and enhances the productivity of the teacher as well as the students, where the students also will be able to completely learn on their own self-pace. Then we have ION Fee Management System, a versatile solution for managing the students' fees and everything. Then the remote examination solution, that is ION Exam. In case of this particular pandemic, universities and autonomous institutions were thriving hard to conduct examinations. For this particular reason, we have ION Exam, which is being successfully used by many institutions across the nation. Then we have ION Computer-based test and also mobile-based applications for students, parents, as well as the faculty, and ease their burden. So this is the complete educational suite from ION Idea for automating all your academic and examination activities. Well, I would request my colleague, Mr. Mohammad Kaleem, to take over from here, and he'll be walking you through the solutions and what we have made and with regard to the educational domain and everything. Well, over to you, Mr. Kaleem.
Thank you, Professor Yogesh. Can you please give me the rights for sharing the screen? Yeah, I got it. Hope my screen is painted here.
Yes, Kaleem, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Yogesh, and thank you.
Screen is visible.
Yeah, thank you, COE India and IDEA 2021 for giving us opportunity to present our solutions. This is our flagship product, Ion Kudos, which take care of the complete automation of OBE process, right from curriculum design, delivery, assessment, attainment, analysis, and your NBA SAR. As yesterday, my senior, Mr. Manohar Joshi, had given the complete inputs on how the solution works, and I would like you to walk through the complete solution. This is the login page where I am logging as an admin. Once you log in, this is the landing page. It is completely role-based access. There are 4 major roles in the software. One is admin, head of the department, program owner, and the course owner. And in admin configuration, I would like to show you few modules where the complete details of the institution is added with respect to what is the institution name, society name, vision and mission of the institution, and how many departments are offered in the institution. Then you can see here the programs offered under each department. Once after adding the departments and the programs, now the users are added and the roles are assigned to the users. While adding the user, you can give multiple roles to the user. HOD can act as a board of governors as well as the chairman of the department, course owner, and the program owner. If you are adding a faculty or a lecturer, then you can give him a role as a course owner so that he can perform the activities which are related to the course owner. Then the generic POs, if you are following NBA, the list of NBA POs are already added for quick reference for head of the department to and add those while defining the POs. And if you are following ABET, the ABET POs are also added here for quick reference. And here the delivery methods are added. All the delivery methods what faculties use to deliver the topics are defined here. It is at institution level so that the faculties can use these delivery methods to deliver those topics. While defining the delivery methods, the respective Bloom's levels are assigned to each delivery method so that you are standardizing your delivery aspects. Here, for example, brainstorming, it can be delivered at L1 and L2 so that whatever the students remember and understand, they can put in their own words while brainstorming session. Likewise, we have taken care of all the 3 domains: cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain. As you all know that cognitive domain deals with your knowledge-based learning, affective domain deals with your attitudinal or emotional-based learning, and psychomotor deals with the skill-based learning. And under each domain, the respective action verbs are defined. For example, cognitive domain, there are 6 levels, L1 to L6, and these are the action verbs which you can define so that the faculties can use these action verbs to write the course outcome or to write the internal or external examination questions. So that with respect to cognitive domain, these are the action verbs, and you can see here affective domain A1 to A5, then psychomotor domain P1 to P7. Then here the map level weightages are defined. If you say CO to PO mapping is highly correlated, what should be the weightage in the backend? While mapping, faculties will do the mapping with respect to the numbers 3 to 1, and there should be some weightage in the backend so that the institution specific you can define those weightages. Once admin completes the configuration part, now head of the department will log in. He will start adding the department vision and mission. In line with your institution vision and institution mission, the department vision and department mission is added. After adding this, the curriculums or the batches are added. After adding curriculums, the program educational objectives are defined. Once the PEO statements are defined, then it is mapped to your mission elements. While mapping, you can map whether it is highly correlated, moderately correlated, or weakly correlated. Then once, and you can give the justification for what and under what circumstances you are mapping high, moderate, or low. Once the mapping is done, now the POs and program specific outcomes are defined. These are the POs and 2 PSOs we have defined as. Once after defining this, the mapping is done, PO to PEO mapping is done, and justification is given for individual mapping. Now the program outcomes can be further broken down into competencies and performance indicators. If you, this part we kept it as optional in the solution. If an institution wants to practice competencies, they can break the complex program outcomes and map the indicators for achieving those competencies. For example, I have taken an example of PO1, that is engineering knowledge, apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering fundamentals, and engineering specialization. Yeah, this is very broader statement, and entire program outcome may not be achieved in by one course. What you can do is you can break this complex program outcome into competencies, that is demonstrate the competency of mathematics, demonstrate the competency of basic science. Likewise, to measure these competencies, indicators are defined and the PI codes are system generated. If you take an example of PO performance indicator 2, this shows that PO1 and competency 1 and PI code is 2. Likewise, the codes are generated by the solution and it is mapped to the respective course outcomes. Now, once after defining this, the courses are added and the course owners are assigned to the course owners. Once the course owners are identified, when they log in, they can define the course outcome for their courses. You can see here the course outcome statement is defined and the Bloom's levels and the delivery methods at which they are planning to fulfill this particular course outcome is mapped. Once this is done, then the mapping between CO to PO mapping is done. And you can see here, while mapping, you can map to the respective competencies and performance indicators at the mapping level. Now the syllabus is added, the topics, topic learning outcomes are defined, and it is sent to head of the department for review. Once after mapping is done, then your curriculum part is completed. Various reports are generated based upon your design, what you have done at one click. And here you can see the curriculum, department curriculum report. It is stored in your server, in your campus, so that all the reports are at your fingertips. And the mapping reports, your PO to PEO mapping reports as per the NBA format. And here you can see articulation matrix. This shows the course to PO mapping, what the individual course owners have done in their login. The complete consolidated report is generated for printouts. And here you can see the CO to PO mapping. Once you click on generate, you can generate it for all 8 semesters together or identified semester. And you can see here the CO to PO mapping, this correlation between COs and POs and the definition of the POs for all the courses available in that particular semester. Once after adding this, you can see here one of the toughest report course a transpose of program articulation matrix. This shows that this particular PO1 is addressed in which all courses for which program PO1. And here this is your theory lesson plan. The complete lesson plan is generated. What faculties are done in bits and pieces, it is consolidated, and this copy can be given to the students at the beginning of semester, so that as a student he knows that what is the correlation between my COs to POs and what are the competencies used, the course content and the topic wise instructions. Here you can see here for this course, faculty has planned to teach the topic in 7 hours. What he's planning to teach, his planned date of delivery as well as the actual date of delivery is captured. And here CO to PO mapping with respect to the Bloom's levels are defined here. And these are some of the reports which are generated, and I would like to show you the assessments. In assessments, as a faculty, you can define what are all assessment occasions you want to conduct, and you can define the balanced question paper. As in the yesterday, one speaker was talking about the balanced question paper. Then I will show you the question paper with respect to the Bloom's levels as well as the course outcome attainment covered in the particular question paper. Here you can define the curricular and extracurricular activities, then add the rubrics for those curricular and extracurricular activities, define the criterias as well as the map to the respective program outcomes and the indicators on which the student is being evaluated. The faculty can use this rubrics to evaluate the students and update the marks into the software. Once you update the data, your data will look like this, so that it will help you for attainments. Then I would like to show you one question paper here which is generated. Yeah, and if you have multiple question papers, you can, yeah, I would like to show you one question paper module. You can define the question paper framework, how many questions are there, how many units are there in your question paper. Then you can define manage questions. This is your question paper. While defining the question paper as per the suggestions of AICT examination reforms, your question paper should cover course outcome. Each question should be mapped to the course outcome, Bloom's levels, and the performance indicators if you're following, and the maximum marks. Once you enter the question paper, you will get the analysis of question paper based upon Bloom's level wise coverage in your question paper, as well as you can see here Bloom's level wise marks distribution and course outcome covered in your question paper, so that based upon the examination department, the guidance, you can define the question paper and roll out the question paper for internal as well as external examinations. Once your question paper is rolled out, now it's time to set the targets. The course owners can set the targets for their courses for internal examinations as well as end semester examinations, and they can define the Bloom's level wise thresholds also for their courses. Once the set course outcomes targets are done, now it's time to import the data. Once the data, you have to enter the student wise question wise marks for your internal examinations, and if it is an autonomous, you can enter the student wise question wise marks for the external also. For affiliated institutions, you have to enter student wise question wise marks for your internal, student wise subject wise marks for your external examinations. Once the marks are entered, you can see the attainments as per the norms of NBA, the attainment calculations. If you want to see, if you have conducted 3 different assessment occasions, and if you want to see how your COs had performed with respect to first internal examination, then if you want to see all the CO attainments for all assessments what you have conducted, you can see here, this is your threshold based attainment and average based attainment, and the calculations are given here with respect to the formulas, so that the faculties can follow this. And these are the formulas which is defined by NBA. And apart from this, if institutions wants to use their own formulas, we will incorporate and customize as per the institution requirements. Once the course owners finalize their course outcome attainments, then you will get the program outcome attainments for all 8 semesters. At one click, you can see your PO attainments. And again, you can see a 50% is the threshold value and threshold based attainment, and all courses contributed to that particular course outcome. Then you will get the list of courses for that particular, which are mapped to the PO1, and you can get all the reports. And we have given the students contribution to the course outcome. By selecting the student rule number, you will come to know that what is the contribution of this particular student to the course outcomes, how he had performed with respect to the Bloom's levels, and this is the cumulative performance, and this is the individual student performance. Here the amber, there is a gap between the blue line and the amber line, so that you can fill the gap by writing an improvement plan. Here you can see assessment wise, and I have selected below threshold value. Here I'm setting the target as 80% to get the maximum reports, where you will get the list of students who are below or equal to threshold value. This is only for the demo data. You will get the list of students, then you can write an improvement plan for those students for this improvement plan. And we have survey module integrated into the solution. In attainment, I have shown you all the direct attainments, and indirect will come from the surveys, where you can define the survey templates, that is response types, what answers you are expecting from the stakeholders. Then you will add the stakeholders, then you will create the surveys and get the feedback from the stakeholders. Here you can see there is a start date and end date of the survey. On this day night 12 o'clock, automatically the survey ends and you will get the complete analysis. I would like to show you one survey details which we have posted, survey reports, so that for every survey you will be getting 3 different reports. One is attainment report, then quantitative report, as well as the detailed report. In attainment report, you can see here, these are your POs and the respective attainment percentages. And coming to quantitative report, if your target value is fairly agree, it will show that how many stakeholders had said fairly agree and how many had said above fairly agree. Then in detailed report, if any feedback given by the stakeholders, even that is captured here, this will act as a additional information for refining or defining your POs or PEOs. And here you can see the faculty contribution, which covers 200 points in your NBA SAR, where we have captured all the details with respect to the faculty workload, research publications, sponsor projects, patents and innovations, awards and honors, books what faculties had published, book chapters, fellowships and scholarships, conferences, seminars, what they have attended and what they have conducted in their institution, and research projects and the professional bodies. And last but not the least, I would like to show you the dashboard. because this ICT tool will help you to monitor the complete automation. And here we have given the color coding with respect to the process, where red indicates the pending and green indicates the process is completed, and half red, half green is in process. Here you can see head of the department will have access to all the batches, all the curriculums and programs in his department, and principal or director will have all the department access. By seeing this, the curriculum design status, I would like to show you that for 5th semester, there are 8 courses, and these are the course owners, what we have defined. And you can see the course owner had completed defining the course outcome. The CO to PO mapping is done. TLOs are added. On the mouse over, you can see the faculty had defined 8 topics. Under each topic, how many topic learning outcomes are defined, lesson schedule and review questions are done. You can see here which faculty is not following the process. You can ask the justification from them. This is with respect to your curriculum design. Then coming to assessment planning, you can see here which faculty had completed updating the question paper and importing the marks. Here, this will help you to keep an eye and monitor the complete department and the programs. And I would like to share one point here. The successful implementation of OB is not individual work. It's a team effort. Until and unless all the faculties put and take accountability, then you will achieve your accreditation process. Yeah, this is with respect to our solutions. I would like to hand over the control to my colleague, Professor Yogesh, for further. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you, Mohammad Kalim.
Welcome.
Please pass on the host credentials, Kalim.
Yeah.
Okay. Just make me the host for a moment?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have to.
Yeah. Thank you, Amay. Well, for our solutions, we would request you to kindly connect to us at www.inadia.com/ion-education, or you can write to us for any demonstration or for the solutions. You can write to us at mohammad.kalim@inadia.com or for me at yogesh.m@inadia.com. And these are our contact numbers. You can directly connect to us for any webinar, training sessions, as well as for the solutions. You can directly connect to us. Well, we would always be very eager to provide automation for educational institutions and to address all your critical areas. Thank you, everyone, once again. And I especially thank the Council of Examiners India, SkillSlate India, for providing us an opportunity to showcase our solution in the sponsored session. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day ahead. Over to you, Mr. May.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Guys, so that was it for our sponsor session as well as the anyone having any questions for Ion India team, please put them in the chat box. Any questions there, please let us know. By the way, I hope you all have received the link for the session 2 and have set on the reminders. All right. Okay, Yogesh sir, can you please display the contact once again?
Yeah, sure, Ramay.
Mr. Yogesh?
Yeah.
Just a second.
Yogesh sir, can I share the screen?
Your screen is visible now, Yogesh sir.
Yeah.
Guys, please note the contact numbers or the email address if you would like to. We will wrap up it at 1:22 p.m. sharp. By the way, those who are here, please let us know how was the experience so far. Please let us know your feedback in the YouTube comments. So your feedback will be immortal for us always. We will always love to look at your feedbacks. Raghavendra sir, are you there in the meeting?
Well, nothing much, Ma. So we could conclude now. We could come back by 2 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay. Just if you can share about the next session in one line, what is there in store? So
Very true. Yes. Sure. Thank you, Amay, for giving a beautiful opportunity for me to give an insight about the next session. To all my faculty, fraternity, student community, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to discuss about the students' experience, improving students' experience. It is very something unique concept that we try to bring before you all. Well, there were days that we were fearing about examinations, we were fearing about the assessments. In fact, we have been fearing about the entire college days itself, apart from our friends and other things. And when it comes to the examinations, there was a little kind of an upset in the stressing factor, which actually scales up. We are trying to de-escalate such kind of things, and we could able to discuss. And the session we're going to talk about the experience and de-escalating the stress, especially on the students' end. How well that we could able to prepare ourselves for the examinations, what are the various challenges, and how to de-escalate the stresses across. Okay, so for that, we have various resource people, from a director to the range of to the administrative officer, to the professors level, to the registrar, to the dean. A lot of people who are going to come and discuss about the students' engagement and the students' experience with you all. I hope that whatever they give us and the insights, I'm pretty sure that the faculty fraternity should be able to adapt it. Okay, so that they could be able to focus it in their classrooms. So with this a small short note, I thank Amay for giving this opportunity to express my insights for the upcoming session. We all look forward for you, and after this session, we have a very grandeur concluding session also. There is also lined up with our directors, as well as the vice chancellor is been joining us. So it will be very retreat for for both COE India as well as SkillSlate India to get wide range of resource people from faculty fraternity and from this research scholars fraternity, including from the global resource people also. We will try to position. It's not for our advantage, it is the advantage for all you people. So we want you people to take as much as possible advantages. Hope that you could take away some, if 1% has been gained from past 4 days, I'm pretty sure that we will be happy for that. So with this, over to you, Amay.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing the insight for what we have in store for the next session. I'm sure that the audience is very excited for the same. Guys, I have again shared the link for the session 2 in the YouTube chat. I have also shared the link for the certificate registrations. Please make sure that the certificate registration has to be done once. If you are not registered for the certificate yet, you can register for the certificate. I'm sure that the certificate of international reputation is going to help you a lot in your profile as well as in your career advancement. Thank you so much all. See you in the next session. Till then, have your lunch quick because we do have a marathon coming up. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.